Here is your podcast.
You know, I've been doing this show 9 years. In the beginning, it was great. I got to show up and just talk and leave. That was fantastic. But now Mex sends me this theme song, tells me to put my own voice in it. Lily shows up. She doesn't produce a goddamn thing. All she does is laugh, turn around, and go home. The only thing I don't wind up doing for this show is listen to it. That's your fucking job. Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Is there a doctor in the house? I know there's no doctor in this house. Is there a doctor out there in the world that can help me? Not me. If someone out there can help my producer, that'd be great if you could step up right now. Who out there, let's put it this way, I don't even have to go doctor. I don't even need medical license. I don't need anybody with training. Is anybody out there own a hammer? How about that? Would that help me out? Does anybody out there help? I was going to say hold a hammer. Does anybody out there have a hammer? Because our friend Lily Von Stupp is in... Well, she's got a lot of stuff going on. We all know that about her, correct? Right? She's business Lily. During the day, she's here putting together programs. She's getting together for another mega successful burlesque festival.
Get no, buy a ticket.
But now she's here, and she's got a bad wheel. We know that. Bad knee, bad hip. She's got a bad arm. She's got a couple of bad arms, actually. She's got the bad ear, which we all know about, and then she's got a bad eye. As a matter of fact, she's wearing chunky sunglasses today during the show. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself, Mike, don't you always bitch that there are lights on in the house? And you know what? The lights are still on in the fucking house, quite frankly, and yet she goes, I'm going to have to put some sunglasses on so I can see. And in my head, I said, all right, well, can we turn these fucking lights then? Maybe? This artificial bullshit light that I fucking hate during the goddamn day? And she then says, I know you're going to be mad at me, but I'm going to have to put these sunglasses on. And I said, why would I be mad at you because you have to put sunglasses on? She goes, because you hate that the fucking lights are on, and you're going to tell me when I put these sunglasses on, why don't we just turn the lights off? And I go, well, yeah, that's probably if you do the math on it, that's probably what I was going to say. And she said, well, but the thing is, I need the lights on to see, but I need the sunglasses on to protect my eyes so I can see. Is there a doctor in the house, ladies and gentlemen? Who out there among you can step up and solve this ridiculous riddle of the Phoenix? This riddle of the Von Stupp. She needs it light enough to be dark. She needs it dark enough to be light. She is water. She is everything. She is wine. I don't know how to explain it. But I'm sitting here with this fucking artificial bullshit light getting I'm getting cancer. I'm Joe versus the volcano right now. I'm in a sickly gray room with fucking light right on top of me, and Lily gets the kick back like she's on the beach in 1968. She looks all fucking relaxed. She's got her like a house dress on. She got it's not a house dress. It's a nice dress, I guess.
It's a nice dress,
yeah.
Thank you.
And then she's got her chunky sunglasses on, which I just threw a photo of that up on the Westside 86 Jokers page, which, by the way, folks, if you're not a member of that page, oh my God, why don't you flock over immediately and become a member of my fan club? Because this is the kind of thing you're supporting. This is this kind of thing where a guy bitches about a woman in sunglasses and artificial light. This is what this show is intended to be from the jump. When Eric Butterfield first came to my house with a microphone and a gun in his trunk, and he said, I'm going to make you talk, buddy. I said, all right, let's do it. We knew eventually it would come to chunky sunglasses and artificial light. We knew we knew nothing of import was going to happen in my life. Nothing was going to be... look, we've been together 9 years. Have I ever talked about anything more important than artificial light and chunky sunglasses? I don't fucking think so. But now, here we are bitching about it. We're talking about it. We're talking about Lily. Lily's here. She's been here forever. How long have we been doing this? She literally just goes... She's got the legal pad. She has to write down, episode 48, I think, whatever the fuck this is. 9? Holy
We're
God.
almost done.
We are almost done.
When does the...
Well, do the math on it. I mean, this week is 49. And now let's talk about this because it's in play because, again, Lily Von Stupp is very much in demand. But she may not be here the next 2 weeks.
I didn't say it was in play. I said, plan on me not being here the next 2 weeks. If I can open up my schedule, I'll call you. This was the same thing that happened last night. I said it'll be noon.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to be here next week.
So it's a coin flip. You may be here sometime in the next 2 weeks.
I'm not going to be in the next 2 shows.
So it's still undecided. You could be here for the next couple of shows, which would be fine.
But festival to do.
Well, I have to let the listener know that there's a possibility you may not be here.
There is not a possibility I'll be here.
Well, so you could be here for the next couple of weeks.
I probably won't definitely be here.
So I'm going to get a solid answer on this eventually. But right now,
I'm not going to be here the next 2 weeks.
Right now, it's all in play. So we don't know.
Next week is the festival, and then the week after that, I'm in Las Vegas.
It's a mystery to both of us. We don't know what's happening just yet. But I'm letting you.
I won't be here the next 2 weeks.
Well, I'm letting you, the listener. There is a possibility that somehow over the next 2 weeks, Lily may be absent. I don't know what the odds on it are. I'd say they appear long. But so if you want to do the math on that, you're here for the next couple of weeks, and then we've got the show 52.
It's
So there's
49.
this is
I want
49.
50 and 51, so I will be back for the last.
You
episode.
may be here for 50 and 51. I've got that. They've got
I
look.
won't be here for 50 or
Listen, you
51.
don't have to lie to the listener. We're just trying to condition them so they're ready next week when they turn on the machine, and they hear whatever voice comes spitting out at them, because they're used to you. They want you here. That's the whole point.
Do you want me just to record my laugh and then just extend it out so it repeats for 2 hours and you can just put it in the background?
That's how we did year 4. We have the technology. We can just go ahead and insert you, which should probably be new for you because you're not usually the one doing the inserting.
Not inserting anything. Oh, that means I'm not going to get paid for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're off. Well, I think you have some vacation time stored up, don't you?
Oh
You
my
could.
God, do I have vacation time stored up?
But I have to ask you this: Did you request this 4 weeks ago?
I
You got to remember.
I put in for this last year.
All right, well then you're fine. I didn't check. I haven't talked to HR. But the thing is, you need to remember. You need them.
Stuff?
There has to be. Well, of course, he's your friend when things get rough, and he tells you when Lily's going out of town. Oh, Jimmy!
The HR Puff and Stuff department. I'll get back to you.
You just go there, and it's those 2 muppety cops that run out and pull out a ladder.
How funny would it be if you called and you got connected to HR and they're like, HR Puff and Stuff, how can I help?
Once a month.
Oh my God.
Once a month, I record HR Puff and Stuff on my television just to hear the theme song. Even though I own the theme song, I actually have it in my iTunes. But because I'm so lazy, I'll be sitting in a chair and I'm like, I see it's coming on. I just hit record. So then that Saturday, whenever I wake up, I can just go, once upon a runaway. I can listen to the whole fucking thing. It's awesome. From her vroom vroom in the sky, she watched the materialize, the way's all gone. All right, so I don't know if you know about it. Witchy Poo grabs Jimmy and the flute. She wants the flute, and then HR Puff and Stuff and a bunch of puppets try to protect him. Yeah, what a fucking. I had to write a thing about the Croft shows. Like when I worked at a website called Tomorrowland. It was just after Load because here's how well liked I am. Let me tell you how good a person and by the way, I also recognize that this is year 9. I could be retreading stories I've told you. I may have already talked about this. And if I have, please, Lily, the next 2 weeks you won't be able to do this, but step up this week.
Step up this week.
But I worked for an episode. I talked about this because I talked about Tomorrowland and I wrote the thing, Arc 2. I wrote the review for Arc 2. But I don't know if I've ever talked about the fact how I was universally reviled in that office and hated.
Why?
I wasn't hated. It was just, but all right, I'll be honest. I worked at Load and I hired a bunch of people to work with me at Load. Like I brought in Pat as my co-writer, and then I hired Pardo and Jim and Pete Moore and all these people to come in, and every week we had a revolving cast. And one week I hired Andrew Koenig, and the late Andrew Koenig, AK-47, and I hired him, and we didn't get along very well because I think Andrew saw me as some sort of buffoonish meathead. And I saw him as a mop with sitcom credits. So I don't know if we really hit it off very well. But I remember that week, like we were writing these bullshit sketches for the internet. And we tried to make them as funny as we could. And we brought as much as we could. But Andrew was a terrific writer. And he would write very smart, almost erudite things. And I think it was my job to kind of go, nah, does somebody get hit in a pie in the face with this? That'd be great. You know, I mean, it's like that sort of thing where I had to be the bad guy arbiter type person, but also personality wise, Andrew and I it just was not a fit. It was not a click, which is too bad because I had always hoped we would make that Laurel and Hardy remake and he and I could be because the size discrepancy between the two of us was just astonishing when he would stand next to me. And it was we just looked like a number 10. That's what we looked like as we stood next to one another. But Andrew and I did not get along very well. So, I don't know if you know what. Let's put it this way. I don't know if it's that we didn't even get along very well. He just didn't think much of me, and I didn't really care for him. So there you go. That's what it was. And I hate to. I'm certainly not speaking ill of him. He was a wonderful man and a terrific writer. It's just for some reason we were oil and water. I was oil and he was a dick. So I mean, it wound up being that kind of a mix. Now he wasn't really a dick. He was just himself. That's the thing. Because he probably didn't like the fact that I want to be worshipped by everybody. That probably wasn't something that was up his alley, I would imagine. Whatever the fuck. I can't look, this is 15 fucking years ago, so I'm done analyzing it. But the point was, I'm just being truthful. We didn't exactly click. So then when Load ended, we all marched out and stomped out, and fucking Pat Francis threw a lollipop at the window, and we all just fucking stormed out like the guys in Animal House in the courtroom. And then eventually, this show Tomorrowland was hiring writers, and they hired Danielle, and then Danielle brought in, they hired Andrew, and then I think Paul Goebel may have worked there as well. And then did Pete Moore work there too? I forget. I don't know, but it was people that I'd hired at Load. And I never got a phone call. And I was disappointed in that. I remember at the time, I'm just like, well, they're like, I mean, I hired them. Wouldn't you hire me back? But it kind of pointed out to me that, hey, maybe people didn't like working with you very much. So I took that as a lesson. And then I wound up getting referred anyway. Like I think I actually asked. I was like, hey, could I, is there any chance? And then Danielle, who was very nice and a champion of mine, said, oh my God, yeah, come on in. And so I went in there, and then I wound up working there and writing on the show there then. And so we had to write about Sid and Marty Krofft. And they would come in and be interviewed by those guys. And so I met Sid and Marty Krofft. And you ever see any of their shows, like Lidsville about a giant top hat with a bunch of fucking puppets living in it? Or HR Puffin Stuff with like a witchy poo, and she's got a couple of weird monster eagles, and then she flies around, she tries to steal a magic flute? Think of the two men who thought of that, and I'll tell you what, they are everything you would possibly think them to be. They are fucking bananas. They were just... They were cool and smart, but boy, were they fucking, they were just out there. Like we had to tether them down to interview them. They had to tie them to the chairs and stuff like that. And I didn't interview them. I had nothing to do with that. But when they walked into the office, they actually, I think they donated one of their Sid and Marty Krofft puppets to the office. We had it in the office, but they would walk around and they were very friendly. But I remember just, everybody was just like, these dudes are fucking out there.
I met
yeah.
Sid.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
okay.
at the castle one night.
Yeah.
And then over at Brookledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, you invented a talking hat.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
That's you, dude. You're the talking hat guy. You came up with a dude named HR Puffin Stuff who saved an actual human boy from a witch because she wanted to steal his magic talking flute. That's you. Yeah. You're that fella.
I have his business card still because it made me laugh so hard that I met a childhood hero-ish.
See? Because those were fucking awesome shows. That's the thing, like, because there were cartoons when I was a kid on Saturday morning. Fucking Harlem Globetrotters and all that bullshit, and fucking there was the Groovy Ghoulies but I loved like the live action shows. We talked about that, like Captain Cool and the Kongs and fucking Dr. Shrinker and Electro Woman and Dinah Girl. Goddamn, go look up Electro Woman and Dinah Girl. See how terrible that is and go, oh my God, you watched that as a kid? You're goddamn right. Just imagine right now, go watch Electro Woman and Dinah Girl and pretend you're just a fat 10-year-old with a mouthful of cereal. Holy fuck, you're me. That's fucking awesome. I would just sit there and stare. No, you gotta be a fat 10-year-old with cereal in your mouth.
I don't want cereal in my mouth. I also
hold on. Let me ask you something. Is that a safe word?
No.
Oh, okay. I did, because that sounded very much like a safe phrase. I don't know. I picture you tied to about 4 bedposts saying that.
I don't want cereal in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, if you say it like that, it's not so safe. You've got to be in control of the situation. You got to have a safe word. You got to say, yeah. Do you have a safe word?
I do.
Can I hear it?
No.
Well, why? I need to know.
We don't engage in that type of behavior.
Yet?
No, there doesn't need to be a safe word. No means no.
See, but this is the thing. Like, if you give me the safe word, that means it's like the key to unlock all locks. And then we can do a bunch of shit. And then when you just say safe word, it's like, all right, I walk away.
No, because you already don't listen to me when I say no.
But if you have a safe word, it's totally different because that's the rules.
Okay, my safe word is no. Stop.
Oh, come on. That's bullshit. What are you, a blogger? That just literally sounds like some nonsense you'd write on Medium. Give me a fucking break. Oh, man. I'm so but you know what? The audience, I'll tell you what. You're not even going to be here the next 2 fucking weeks. Share your fucking safe word, for God's sakes. No. You owe it to the listeners.
I owe the listeners nothing.
You owe them everything.
No.
You wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for these people.
That's not how this works.
How does it work?
You do a show and people enjoy it or they don't.
Don't believe me. I'm aware of that part of it. Certainly half of that. I can absolutely tell you there are people who or they don't. All right, so we're not going to get Lily's safe word out of her. And, I got to be honest with you. A lot of people have been writing asking about it, and that was the reason I brought it up. I did it in a nice way. I tried to do it.
Word?
Pardon me?
What is your safe word?
I tried to create a safe word, and I was told that I wouldn't need one. And
that's a person you don't want to be with. And
well,
I think I told you that at the time.
Well, especially because he's my gym coach. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. I mean, Jesus Christ. When your gym teacher tells you won't need a safe word, you're just like, yeah. Next thing you know, you're pulling a jump rope out of your ass, and that's no fun for anybody, except your gym coach, because A, he got to put it up there, B, he got to watch you pull it out, C, he got to take Polaroids of the whole goddamn thing. I can only imagine what Mr. Ward is thumbing through these days. He flips through and looks at me pulling a jump rope out of my ass. See, why do I impugn Mr. Ward? He was a good teacher. He was a good guy. He became a dean. The man became a dean. He wore a suit eventually. He put in years in short pants to graduate to a suit. And here I am, 30 years later, saying he's pushed the jump rope up my ass. That's not fun. It is rude. It's wrong. I shouldn't do that. I apologize, Mr. Ward. He listens, by the way. He wrote me. I know he did. All of my old teachers. That's freaky. Like, I became friends with my teachers after I bailed. Like, I was friends with Miss Sears, and I still like. Then I had to call her Jackie, which was fucking weird as hell. You know what I mean? Like, because they would come see my comedy shows, and I'd be like, "Hi, Jackie. Hi, Diane." You know, and they're awesome, but it just felt weird calling them by their first names.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Jackie and Diane?
Well, here's a little ditty about them. I can tell you that. And I did most of my shows outside the Tasty Freeze. Jackie's got on Diane's lap. She's got a hand between her knees. All right, so what are we talking about? We got nothing here, right?
I don't know.
We know that you're coming here for the next 2 weeks. You're going to be here to do the show, and that's going to be fantastic.
Well, we know where. Do you want to talk about August yet?
It seems early in the show to talk about August, doesn't it?
It seems early to be thinking about August.
Quite frankly.
But, yeah.
Well, my favorite thing was you tried to make it June, and I'm like, I don't know if you know what the date is. You're like, oh, dude, we got to do June, and I'm like, it's like May 15th already.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got a festival in the middle, and you got all sorts of bullshit going on, and it just
you
seems.
didn't realize my festival was 11 days away.
That I did not know. I actually thought your festival was the end of June, and I was like, so last night I saw Lily out and about. I saw Business Lily on display because last night we did the 2020 show. We did some comedy over at the 3 clubs on Vine at Santa Monica, and it was totally fun. We had a good show. I will tell you this. I actually had, all right, first of all, our friends Tom and Jeremy and Les were there, and our friends Erica and Eric and Christian actually showed up. And then Erica's sister, who I quite frankly am going to clothesline at some fucking point in my life, probably. That's what I'll do. Here's because look, I'm still remembering how to do comedy. I'm still remembering how to be that guy. And you know me, I don't mind firing away and saying whatever the fuck comes into my head. So I get on stage and I'm there's a room. It's like 12 people, and there's 3 new people there last night. It was good. We had a decent crowd. We had a good crowd at the 2020. It was fantastic. And then I get on stage and Erica's sister like starts heckling me immediately.
She wasn't heckling. She was just talking.
But yelling at me to get my attention so I would talk to her. And then I ripped her like twice, and then she didn't. She's the worst kind of dumb. She reminds me. I hate to say this is mean. She's like the worst kind of dumb audience member who doesn't get that they've been destroyed and they just keep going, and then you have to pay attention to them the whole fucking time because they won't shut the fuck up. But oh boy, she's great. I'm glad she came out. Sounds terrible.
Just ignore people like that.
Because we're in a small room of 20 people and she's yelling. How do you fucking ignore that, Lily? You can't.
I do. I ignore it the first time and the second time, and then the third time I fucking throw them out.
See, I go the other way. I jump on them immediately you throw them out. See, that's the thing. You don't deal with it. You let them fucking act the fool, and then you toss them the fuck out.
If they really act the fool. Once you engage with someone, then they think they're just having a conversation.
But I didn't talk to her. She started yelling at me first, and then I blasted her a couple of times, and then
she thought you were having a fun conversation of playing the dozens like Bill Cosby used to say.
Yeah, but I have a microphone and I'm getting paid, and I'm not playing the fucking dozens with some chick in a tank top. Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's what humans are now.
I hate humans.
They think they're in front of their TV and they can yell at CNN.
Well, that's what happened. And look, and again, I've gone to eat with this person, and she's lovely. She's very nice to me. And after the show, she's like, it was so great. You're so nice. And she's really cool to me. But during the show, because then again, she didn't yell at the other comics, didn't say a fucking word to them. But because she knows me, she says, you're dumb.
Yes.
I'm like, what? What are you doing?
She wasn't going, you're dumb. She didn't heckle you like you're bad. She made a weird statement, and then you said, let's talk about it. So she did.
Yeah, fuck that. That's not what happened.
That is what happened.
No,
Would you
it
like
isn't.
The tapes? I have them.
I hope you made tapes. Absolutely, I hope you made
tape
tapes.
all of it. I tape it just so that we can use it later.
All right, you're right. So I'm fucking wrong. I fucked up. You're right. That's right. It was everybody can fucking yell, and I'm fucking stupid. All right, fine.
That's not what I said.
No, it's totally what you said. That's good. You're right. She was wrong. She said something it's totally appropriate to shout out in the middle of a show, and I should just ignore her or throw her the fuck out. You're right. No, you're totally right.
For her to do it. Oh
No,
my God,
it's fine.
I'm so glad I'm not.
No, she's the best. You're right. I'm fucking stupid. She should run 2020, and maybe she should do the fucking show because everybody came there to see her yell fucking fake news out of her goddamn chair. You're right. It's stupid of me to even consider the fact that someone would be considerate and listen to me do jokes. It's fucking stupid. All right.
We're canceling August.
Cancel all of it. Cancel everything. I don't give a fuck.
By the way, we have 2 shows in June at 2020 if you want to come out and see.
Not anymore. Cancel it. Fucking cancel it.
It's good.
Yeah, if you want to come out here, it's headlined by Erica's sister, and she's also hosting.
Why don't you just book her? See what she does for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I kind of want that just so I can heckle the shit out of her. No, you're right. I'm stupid. I shouldn't even think that there was any sort of
performing on the first one in June, first week of June 5th.
Well, the very funny Lizzie Cooperman, who is from the Late Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And I will have, well, look, I don't have any guests for the second Sunday yet, or the second Monday in June. We're doing it twice in June. Shouldn't this be done in the plugs? Why are we talking about it now?
It's because it's not a plug. We're casually talking about it because we were talking about what happened.
All right. Yeah, what happened? But I found out I was fucking wrong.
I never said you were wrong. When someone disagrees with you, that doesn't make you wrong.
You're trying to make me wrong. You're trying to put me in a wrong corner.
I'm not trying to make you wrong. I'm trying to point out that there's another side of how you could have dealt with that.
There's no side. There's none. No, there's not. There's no side.
Because I didn't even think she was heckling.
She yelled something in the middle of the fucking show. As far as I'm concerned, that's fucking heckling.
Right now.
You're part of this show. But you're fucking right. Again, I'm fucking dumb. I'm wrong. Everybody gets to yell out. It's fucking beautiful. Everything should be Lord of the fucking Flies. Let everybody go ahead and get the conch. Piggy gets the conch. Erica's sister gets the conch. The fucking new people get the conch. Tom gets the conch. And I get the fucking... I'll just sit back. Blow the conch and then roast the fucking beast. That's what we'll do. It's Lord of the motherfucking Flies and I'll just stand the fuck back.
We only have tater tots. We don't have a beast.
Roast them.
Have you had the tater tots? Oh,
I've had nothing. I've had literally apparently all I've done is just make mistakes and ruin the show.
Someone should order tater tots for you in the next show.
No thanks. No, that's good. I mean I shouldn't even show up for the next show apparently because I do it wrong.
So we have one person confirmed for the June 4th and then
June 5th.
Or June 5th, and then who do we have for the next one?
Well, no, we don't have anybody for the last one yet. But June 5th we have Lizzie Cooperman and Lenny Schmidt.
Oh, Lenny Schmidt is with you. That's
Lenny Schmidt will be there. My brother will be there doing the show because he happens to be in town. So
are you going to do Schmidt on Schmidt?
You know, I told you I had that idea many times, and I often thought of approaching him and going, why don't you do a story and I'll do my version of the story, that kind of thing. But I don't want to fucking do that. He does what he does and I do what I do, and that'll be fine.
You should totally ask him. That would be brilliant. And then we'll record it and release it as a bonus podcast.
Now, maybe Lenny and Erica's sister can work up a dual fucking act, and you'll like that.
Yeah, but they didn't grow up together. they won't see it.
Doesn't matter. I'm sure they'll make an immediate connection. Unlike me, who's unable to relate to an audience or make any sort of connection, and I fucked up and I ruined everything by responding in kind.
Why is everything either it was great or you fucked up?
Because that's life.
No, it's not.
It's
there
totally
are so
life.
many gray areas.
Fuck gray areas. Nobody wants to care about a gray area.
But the gray areas are the reality.
The gray area is shut the fuck up. You paid to come into a show.
That is not the gray area.
Yeah, that should be the gray area.
That is the black and white area.
Well, good.
But
Shut
when
up.
you enter into the gray area where things are not clean black and white, you can still look at it and go, oh, okay, it could be this or this, and, whatever.
So when you go to a comedy show and people just start yelling out, you think that's awesome.
I don't think it's awesome.
Sounds like you think it's great.
No.
You as an MC, you as a fucking MC too, especially, you're defending the heckler, which makes me laugh.
I did not defend the heckler.
You just did.
I did not. You've heard it wrong.
Mm.
You think because I say there is this side of what happened and how it could be different that I made you wrong, and that's not true. That's not true at all. That doesn't make you wrong.
See, I will be honest with you. The reason this is getting to me is because I don't think I have the chops anymore to handle hecklers, or I haven't learned to get them back. And now you telling me I did it wrong just shows me that's right.
No, I think you were funny.
I'm not actually sweating. I'm literally fucking sitting here sweating mad because of what you telling me that I'm not good enough and I didn't do it right.
I didn't say you weren't good enough. Here's the thing. You made the conscious choice to fight the audience and do that for 20 minutes.
She yelled at me. No, I didn't. No.
And move on
you
to
can't
your story.
ignore somebody in a small fucking room who keeps yelling out. She yelled out she yelled out twice before I said anything to her. And at that point, I gotta fucking say something. You can't, yeah, you do. Don't shake your fucking head, because then everybody's gonna go, why the fuck is that chick yelling and he's not even dealing with it? That's fucking ridiculous. And also, I consider it a personal affront that you're fucking yelling at me when I'm trying to do a goddamn show. And especially because you fucking know me. What the fuck is your problem? So, yeah, probably that gets to me.
Did you tell her that after the show?
No, I didn't tell her a fucking thing. No, I didn't. No, because again, I do this all wrong. It's I make mistakes and I do it incorrectly.
I emceed after you last night at the burlesque show, and I went to tell a joke, and somebody fucking stepped on my punchline with a different punchline, and it got a huge laugh. And I stood there and I said, I have two choices: I can fight the entire audience right now, or I can laugh along and move on.
Well, because you're better at this.
After the show,
yeah.
She and I talked, and she said, I'm really sorry for doing that. And I said, I'm really glad, because then I don't have to have a talk with you.
Right. Well, it's because you're better at this than I am. You
make the conscious choice that you like to fight.
I don't like to fight, but when somebody yells, incorrect.
Then you wouldn't do it if you didn't.
That's incorrect.
2 minutes ago, you said, I don't have the chops to do this anymore.
I don't.
Well, I'm saying, don't fight the audience, push past them. That's what I was saying.
But that only comes from doing,
yeah,
but believe me, I'm not, look, I know I'm not a comic anymore. All right, I get it. I'm not a stand-up. I get it.
Completely.
No, bullshit, because I was talking to Karen last night, and I even told her.
Rather than tell the joke.
Fuck that. Because she fucking yelled twice. You can't let that pass.
No, you can't let that pass because personally you want to fight.
I don't want to fucking fight. I want you to sit down and shut the fuck up and enjoy the show. That's what I want.
You would have moved right past her and the audience would have laughed and eventually she would have shut up.
No, bullshit. She would have kept yelling. She would have yelled the whole fucking time. Every time.
That?
Because you have to step on some fucking heckler.
You're
You're right. I'm bad at this. I get it.
That is not what
No,
I'm
you're
saying.
right.
What I'm saying is you treat anybody who speaks as though they're ready for a fight when you're on stage.
Uh-huh. And
Not
that's why I
everybody is.
stopped doing stand-up. Because I'm not good enough
She knows
to handle it in that way.
Along. Eventually she would shut up and let you tell the story.
No, it doesn't. You're right. It's my fault. This is why I'm embarrassed. Like I said, I'm sweating
It's not
hot.
fault.
It is my fault. Fuck. Shut up for a second. I don't mean shut up to you. That's mean. I mean, you're right. I don't have the chops to do this anymore as a stand-up. You have to do it in order to learn how to do it. And you have to, listen to me. This has been my problem for 15 years as a stand-up and even in clubs. I look at hecklers as the enemy. I don't look at them as anything to play with or have fun. Yes. So I did it last night. Right. But it's worse when someone knows me and they fucking launch into me and then I got to fucking go after them. I don't want to fight. I want to do my act. I want to talk. I literally showed up last night. I had a story. I had a fucking
hysterical, by the way.
Yes.
I'm not gonna let this pass because you are hysterical when you fight an audience.
Yes, I know. I'm funny. All right, I get it. I will say this, and this is in all truthfulness. I was a fucking powerhouse Monday night. Yes. I just fucking I ran downhill and I was funny. And then a guy mentioned we talked to poor Tom and he mentioned that his mom had died. And then he wouldn't stop talking about his dead mom. So then I just kept talking about his dead mom and kept throwing more dirt on her, for literally and figuratively.
Yes, and it was hysterical.
Yeah, it was great. I was really good. But the thing was, I actually had prepared a story to talk about that night because I'm trying to get back into doing this. So I wanted to have, because I was using the room the way you said to use the room. Because literally you're like, hey man, you do this every month. So why don't you can use it as a launching pad to do whatever the fuck. Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, instead of just coming in and talking like I do, because I can do that in front of people I know, but in rooms where I don't know, it probably wouldn't work as well. Or I could maybe win people over. Who the fuck knows? I mean, there were 3 people there last night who thought
They thought you were hysterical.
Yeah, they thought I was hysterical, which is great. But if they would have seen me do a structured actual beat story, because again, also, then we've got Jessica Michelle Singleton goes up and she does her great show.
Oh, that was really funny. Depression is hysterical, I think, is what I put out on the Twitter because she was really good.
She
was very talking about a really hard topic.
Well, she was great. But then Karen goes up, Karen Rontowski,
yes.
who literally is the definition of comedian. Like you look it up in the dictionary, there's Karen Rontowski setting them up and knocking them down. I mean, we're in a room last night. Like I said, there's only about 20 people in the room. And she's getting every bit got a laugh, every single joke. And in my head, I'm watching up because I'm in the crow's nest and I'm just like, man, this is what you don't do. This is who you are not. You know what I mean? And this is who you should be because that's what a comedian does. They fucking set it up. They knock them down. They write. They have bits. They set it up. They knock it down. They write. They have bits. I just came out there and I was a tornado for fucking 20 minutes and then moved the show on. You know what I mean? And that's, I mean, I used to do stand up in a bits and things like that, but I've lost it. And even though when I was doing it then, I fucking, handling the audience was a deal that was always rough for me because like I said, it's inherent in my personality to think you're attacking me. It just is. I know that's who I am.
What I'm getting at is you made the conscious decision to fight the audience rather than push through and tell the story.
Because I take it as a personal affront that you would shout out in the middle of my fucking show, what the fuck are you doing? Sit down and relax and enjoy the show.
But you're hysterical either way. In my opinion, I think both of those are funny. But if you want to use that room, you have to ignore it and let's fight the audience now and just move forward with your story.
Yes, I have to do that. But that's
what I'm saying is you make the choice to decide to fight. If someone punches you in the face, you either walk away or you fight back.
You can't walk away ever.
Yes, you can.
There's
you
no
can
reason.
Walk away all the time.
No, because you know why? Because then for the next 20 years, you'll wake up and go, I walked away from that motherfucker who punched me in the face. That was fucked.
Wouldn't you rather have them come up to you at the end of the show and just go, Jesus Christ, you were funny, and forget about the fact that they didn't get to pick a fight with you and you won?
After they punched me in the face?
But you won.
I'm still on punching in the face.
You won by being hysterical.
No, I didn't win by being hysterical.
When someone shouts out and tries to throw you off the track, if you ignore them and not let them, you win.
No, because then the rest of the audience is going, why the fuck are you letting her do that?
No, they don't. The rest of the audience is like, fucking Mike is hysterical. Why is this idiot over here talking? They ignore her because they concentrate on the fact that you're brilliant. You need to talk to Shannon about this.
Oh, fuck. Shannon. She's bored. She's bored already of me.
You are hysterical either way you go, but you get to make the decision of fighting back with the audience or not every time you're on stage. And if you want to work more on telling the stories, then you have to stop fighting with the audience.
Well, the audience needs to shut up.
That we're like having this whole breakdown of Monday's show on the air because people don't know that this is a real job and these are things that you talk about.
People don't, yeah, but again, we've wasted this fucking show by people listening to me yell and be a baby about this nonsense, and nobody wants to fucking hear that.
You're yelling or being a baby.
I was yelling.
We're talking about the process of being on stage and how we make the comedic choices you make.
Yeah, but we're talking about my process, which is not real or interesting.
I disagree. I have learned so much watching you and working with you that I could never have learned, with a different comic and what they do. I wouldn't have learned. I think Catherine was brilliant last night. Catherine, right?
Karen,
I'm sorry. I think Karen was brilliant
Yeah,
last
she was
night,
phenomenal.
But she's not the comic I would want to be on stage. I think she's brilliant and funny, but it's not the show I would do. I've learned more about working a room and understanding by dealing with you.
Yeah, but you just told me how bad I am at it.
I never said that at all. I said you make the choice of which way you want to go every time you get on stage. Do you want to fight the audience or do you want to tell the story?
Well, 2 weeks ago, last month I should say, when we did the show.
You pushed through all of it, went through, told a story, and it was wonderful as well, but in a different way. That's all. You get to decide. You have the mic. You get to decide how you want to wield that power. It isn't that you have to relearn how to do comedy. It's that you have to decide which comic you're going to be at that time.
Well, no, I got to relearn because I know how to talk and be me.
You also know how to tell a story. You need to relearn the decision of when you walk on the stage, what are you going to do tonight?
Well, no, what I need to learn is the thing I've always needed to learn my entire comedy career, and why Pardo stopped taking me on the road and why all that worked is I looked at the audience as my enemy. I always did. I always have. The audience is my enemy. Now, 2020 has been helping because it's a friendly audience, usually. So it's people I can have fun with and shout at and be silly and have fun. But when someone I don't know very well starts on me, it's almost like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're not in the club. We're all in this together, but why are you shouting? I don't understand. Again, like I said, I used to think this in comedy clubs all the time. I don't understand heckling. I mean, I do. It's some misfit in the audience who feels left out and they want to be part of it. And so I've always wanted to go in the way of just exploiting their misfithood and destroying them. That's the way it should be. I don't want to bring anybody in and go, oh, come on, let's all have fun. I mean, I also don't want to be that pandering asshole. I don't know what to do. That's what I mean. It's a choice and a decision. And look, you guys are bored as fuck listening to this, and I totally get it.
Fascinating.
Nah.
I think they're going to think it's fascinating.
No,
too.
they're not. Which is
Write
fine.
your congressman if you don't think it's fascinating.
They already fucking tuned out. So I mean, it's because of who my personality is and who I am as a guy. You know what I mean? It's caused problems in personal relationships where I may interpret things incorrectly. Mex and I fight about it all the fucking time. Where he's like, what are you acting like this for? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm trying to fucking figure shit out. And same thing on stage. I'm trying to figure stuff out. I don't know. I'm trying to relearn what to do. Now, I know how to be funny. I know how to either, if I want to just talk to the crowd for 45 minutes or if I want to do an actual fucking story or two stories or whatever, I can do that. I mean, dude, when I did Austin, I've done Austin. I did the one man in Austin once and did, the whole one man. But then the next time I went back to Austin and I worked at Coldwater, I never even got to the stories I was going to tell. I did an hour and a half on like paper towels in the green room and then just talking about what had happened on the way there. I'm not even joking. Like literally it was because I only had that show. I didn't have the room the whole night. So I had to only go, I had to do my show and then they had another show coming in later. And that's actually we talked about that on here too, because my show I fucking destroyed. I'm at a meet and greet. I'm talking to people. I'm shaking hands. It was fantastic. Signing autographs, selling merch. And I never even got to the stories. I literally just talked about what had happened on the trip out there and what had happened in the green room at the theater. Yeah. It was fantastic. I love that show. I think I released it in year like 6 or something. Yeah. But then that same night I went up and I did stand up in their Austin stand up thing. They asked me to do it. I bombed miserably because I tried to do material. Like the material that was passing for material at the time for me. Just like when I went to Broke LA at the festival out there, I went up on stage and I was like, well, I'll do material. I'll make it work. And it's that thing where I need to relearn how, if you're not getting people, you have to get them. You have to make, if they're not on board with you, that's a fucking long ass, even 5 minutes is long. Your mouth dries out and you know what the fuck to do. And so I need to get back out there and do it. But then at the same time, I'm talking to Karen last night and she's like, I said, yeah, I don't know about going back to clubs. She goes, no, you should go. Everybody's great out there. I go, I actually heard really terrible things because I've talked to other comedians who are like, yeah, don't. Clubs are done. Like, you don't want to go out there anymore because it's fucking a misery. And
everything is miserable if you want it to be miserable. Otherwise, you go in and you go, tonight didn't work. Next day it'll be better.
Yeah, I don't know who you are as a person that you can actually think that going up and giving all of yourself for 45 minutes and getting it soundly rejected and slapped back in your face is something you just shrug off and go, well, the next night will be better, because you are laying yourself out there and getting fucking kicked in the nuts. Yes. It's fucking brutal.
I agree.
You've had bad sets. We've talked when you've thought things haven't gone well.
I'm not going to spend the rest of my life worrying about it. I'm going to look at it and go, what can I learn from that and how can I be better the next time? I make the decision that I think is the best decision every time I'm on stage. No matter what's happening, what is the best decision I can make for this audience? I don't want to fight an audience. I never want to fight an audience. I fucking played the shrinking violet on stage one time. Can you imagine me being submissive on stage? No, but I was like, I can't fight this entire room. I don't have the energy, the will, or the need, and no one is going to enjoy that. So I went, I'm going to go the other direction, and I'm going to go, do you think I write my own jokes? Look at these tits. And literally the entire room laughed, and I went, great, I have to go to misogyny in this room, and then never come back here. And I did. Yeah,
but that blows. It fucking sucks. Like, that's the thing is, I don't want to,
I got through it, I got the paycheck, and I went on to the next one.
And again, it gets to me not wanting to do work. It gets to me not wanting to because I want to show up and be fucking revered, and I want to talk and have everybody go, God damn, you're funny as hell. And then I want to leave. I want to just go ahead and drift off into the ether and leave a pleasant memory and maybe the smell of Downy fabric softener. That's all I want that's left behind. I want pleasant discussions about how incredibly funny I was, and then that soft waft of fucking Downy right in their nose, and they go, oh yeah, I remember him. He was here and he was funny and he smelled terrific. See, that's who I want to be. I don't want to have to leave the crater smoking behind me as I go to the next city and go, holy fuck, where are these other assholes I got to yell at? I mean, I don't like fighting an audience either. It's not fun. You know, I mean, talking to an audience is fun. I don't mind doing that.
So let me ask you this. You made that all really funny and everybody in the room had a good time. So did you make the best decision?
Well, that's the problem is I don't know what decisions to make. I know what I look, I'm still trying, again, when I was doing stand-up and I was doing it all the time, I was working topical. I never talked about my life. So then I started to do fucking Never Not Funny, and I got away from doing topical, and I started to talk about my life, and I saw that people were responding to it. So then it morphed me into whatever the fuck I am now. Yeah. So 9 years later, here we are, or 11 years later after Never Not Funny, and we're talking, and I'm telling stories about, you know, my life and everything, and that's good. It works. And mixed in with other topical fucking observations, whatever the fuck, that's fine. But as far as being on stage, the times I've done Podfest or the times I've done road shows, you know, I worked hard on the one-man show. I think about this. It's so funny. The way my brain has changed from even 2012, because I remember sitting in Graveyardville and writing, literally handwriting out paragraphs. People used to bust my balls because I'd put up a picture from the green room at every stop on the one man. I was in Cleveland or Houston or wherever the fuck. I didn't do Houston, Cleveland, Austin, wherever, in Seattle, Portland. And I would take a picture of the green room and my pad of paper would be in front of me. And you would literally see like my notes that I had written out. And it said, hi, I'm Mike. I made myself write that out every single show. I did it on purpose. So I would write that out. I would make sure that it was on there, and people would go, man, why the fuck you can't remember that? Really? Are you that fucking ridiculous? Even though they weren't that aggressive.
Everybody's that aggressive to you.
Listen, because everybody needs to stand down. What the fuck? Why are you giving me a hard time? Get out of my way. Clear the way.
They aren't. They're just being, and that's
yeah, I know. It's my problem. I understand. It's my problem. Anybody listening for as long as they've listened, it's my fucking problem. They get it, okay? Everybody else is perfect. I'm a dumb fuck. I get it.
But that's
I'm joking. I don't really believe that. There have been times I've thought that. There have been times, unfortunately, in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm the problem. I'm the mistake. I get that that's not true, okay? And I'm not putting blame on anybody other than myself, though. I need to relearn to do the things that are good. So when I did the one man, I would sit and I would write. And I actually hand wrote out the beginning part about Adderall. I mean, I literally wrote it all out. And I typed it out as well because I'm not a lunatic. But when I would be on the road, I would actually write all the notes because I had to write, first of all, when I did the one man, as we all know, I was doing a show before a show. I mean, I would do an hour-long show about the trip to that fucking city, and then I would do the 2-hour-long one-man show. So I had to constantly, I had the strength and the focus and the discipline to sit in my room the day of the show in my hotel, and I would write out, I would think of the beats and all of the stuff regarding what had happened when I was flying out, or if I went to use the ATM, or if the person at the rental car was mean, or what restaurant I went to, all of those things. I would remember them, and I would make them, you construct them into something that resembles a theme or an actual through line. Yeah. And then I would get to the one man. So I would, and it was, a lot of it was improvised and off the top of my head, but also I'd have to think about it because I'd know I'd go, all right, what happened to you on this trip? This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And I'd structure it in a way where it made fucking sense. And the same thing with the one man. I sat down and I structured it in a way that made sense. Well, now I can't. It's a strange thing, but even with 2020, I do it once a month. I may have talked about this on here before. I know I've talked to Shannon about it. I sit down and I have no discipline or structure or patience to construct anything. I've made myself do it. I did it last month, and I told a very
brilliant.
Well, because I told the 7-Eleven story, which I'm actually familiar with. But I need to go back through the shows and find actual chunks and things and make those into shows, things I can do on the road or in certain rooms. But then yesterday, it was Mother's Day on Sunday, so I was going to talk about my mom. I had a whole thing because my mom, if you didn't see this on Facebook, I asked my mom for pictures to use. I'm like, I'm going to put up a picture of you for Mother's Day. She's like, fuck all that. You don't have to do that. I said, Ma, come on. I'm just going to put up, and I go, send me a picture that I can put up. I've got, because I have, as I mentioned before, I've got all those pictures from the past up when we were little or whatever, and there's some of my mom, but I wanted to send one from now. So she literally sent me a picture of her with her fucking pistol grip shotgun that she got for Christmas. She sent those pictures, and then she sent the pictures of the target that she'd been shooting the fuck out of. When you're not, there's nowhere, like, again, it's that thing where, like, they know a guy who knows a guy, so they can go shoot the shotgun at this fucking range. And I laughed, and I was like, all right, well, fuck it, I'm putting both of them up, and I did. I threw them up.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I was going to write a story about that, and about, and I actually constructed a thing about, well, my mom, she's been sick, and.
Now?
Well, because it's stuff I've told on the show, but then I structured it into live stuff. It does matter. People have heard this shit before. They've heard me bitch before too. Now they've sat through that for fucking long. So it was going to be that in that context, but in a 20-minute boiled down version. And, you write the end first and you go backwards from that and you try to figure out where everything goes. And I was like, all right. So I actually did some work yesterday. And I hadn't done it in forever. And so maybe that's why when I first started to talk and I immediately got launched on, I'm like, really? It's going to be fucking this now? I got to do this? And so then I went into that, and then it turned into something else. And then 20 minutes all of a sudden had gone by, and it was time for me to bring up another comedian who had an actual structured act. And so I was frustrated and I was disappointed in myself, not so much of the audience and people like that. You don't blame the audience. I blame me for not being good enough to shepherd it in the direction that I wanted to go. Instead, I fell back on the thing that I know I can do very easily, and I was able to make it through and do it and make it funny and do really well. Yes, but I wanted to do a different thing. So I felt great all night until I got home, and then I was like, God damn it, again. Because I told you, I have that feeling every Monday after 2020. I get home and I'm like, fuck, that's not what you wanted to do, man. You wanted to have an act. You wanted to have, jokes and a structured story or structured this, and actually do it like a comedian would do it. And then when you see somebody like Karen go up and just fucking hit home run after home run, it's like batting practice. Literally, there's a pitch, it just flies out of the park. A pitch flies out of the park. Bang, 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 bang. Tons of jokes and killing it.
Is that what you want to do?
I can do that. Well, I mean, I can do that sometimes.
But you're comparing apples and oranges with her act and your act.
Yes, I know. But I would like to have the discipline to get laughs the whole way through and not and do it the way I want to do it, and not get distracted and commit to what I'm doing. This is so uninteresting for people. Nobody wants to fucking hear this. This is a fucking comedy show. No. Well, you disagree because you're sitting here. No, people don't love this.
People will listen to this and they'll be like, I had no idea that that's how this works.
Actually, they'll have every idea. Oh, Mike's an idiot. They'll know it.
Walk up and laugh and make people, and it just like is magic.
Well, that's the thing. I can do that, and it can be magic.
Yes.
But the problem is sometimes I wanted to do something different, and I didn't have the fucking discipline or the chops or the smarts or whatever the fuck to pull it off. And I'm frustrated with myself over that. And then hearing you tell me that I could have handled it differently. Yeah, probably I could have, but now I'm getting mad because I'm like, fuck yeah, you're right.
You already knew? You already knew you could have gone a different way.
Right. I could have gone the right way instead of the fucking way I went.
Different way. Both are funny. They're different.
But I know what I wanted to do. And if I want to do this in a real way where I go back on the road and actually see people who don't know who the fuck I am, I apologize to you for this show. We're so late in year 9 and you're like, I've stuck around for this. Now you're going to, again, you're tearing open your fucking head and talking about your fucking shortcomings in a ridiculous way. Yeah, I am. I guess, I suppose. But this is supposed to be funny stuff. I'm supposed to be talking to being humorous. Then now we're just me fucking whinging about last fucking night. Nobody wants to hear that.
Do you know what I've come to the conclusion of?
Well, you've got your hand in your chin, so it must be something important.
I need to buy you a new notebook.
What does that mean? I don't even know. So
that you can write, "Hi, I'm Mike," and start doing the work again.
I have a notebook.
Okay.
I'll look back and I'll look at the set lists from other cities and things like that. And I'm like, okay.
So what you're saying then right now, as you did to me earlier, is you're saying that you are going to spend the next 2 weeks preparing for the June 5th show by writing it all out.
Well, I don't know if I'll write it all out, but I want to make some structure and discipline of it. I want it to be something that makes sense.
So
I want
on
it to
June
be
5th at 2020, you and Schmidt on Schmidt,
he's not doing, Lenny's doing his act.
Lenny and who was the other girl? Lizzie.
Me, Lenny, Lizzie.
You, Lenny, and Lizzie are going to have an incredible show that everyone should buy tickets for.
Well, that's a given.
Okay,
I mean,
then let's do it.
But Lenny and Lizzie will certainly do a structured act that's very funny.
So will you. Just say you will and then do it.
I may just wind up shouting at everyone. Who knows what will happen?
I don't think you will.
Who knows?
Because if she shows up, I'm going to ban her. I'm not going to let her in.
No, stop. See, and that's the thing is that's the problem with doing this show. But I'm serious though. That's the problem with doing the show on such a weirdly personal level, because these people are my friends. Like I said, essentially these people are my friends, just like people out there like Hannah and everybody. They're my friends. And so if I talk about them and I talk about how they acted like a dumb fuck, then I'm going to be like, oh my God, that hurt. And you just told the nation. And it feels kind of shitty. But at the same time, this happened and you got caught in the maelstrom and you opened your fucking mouth, God damn it. But, she can just go crawl under her rock and then come back in a month. I don't know. Fuck. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's my fault.
It's nobody's fault because it was still a funny show.
Yes, it was very funny.
But the process is going to continue to change, and you're going to work on it. And on June 5th, you're going to show up.
But the thing is, I don't have a process anymore. I think I go and I put it off.
You got 2 weeks to redevelop it.
Yeah, but it's not.
And then you got 2 weeks for the one after that. So your discipline is going to start getting in order again.
That's what you say, but I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing is, you're not me. You don't then sit down and with a pen and go, all right, I'm going to do this. And then a butterfly comes in and you waste an hour thinking about that.
I do have that same thing, but I also know that as an MC when I do it and as a performer when I do it, I still have to do that work, whether it's 3 weeks before the show or 2 days before the show.
Right, but the difference between you and me is I want to write a structured, disciplined show, but I can talk for 20 minutes and get away with it.
Okay, well, you're not allowed to. If you start to do that, I'm going to put off an air horn on Mondays.
But that's what people want. What if people want to see that? What if they're like, I totally love when you do that?
Don't play both sides of the coin against yourself. Stop it.
Wow, that's Sam Spade nonsense. That's interesting.
But that is the truth. You have 2 distinct styles you are very good at. Guess what? You can only be one of them and make the decision on June 4th or June 5th to be the storyteller.
I am so tired of telling you people what I can't do. I got to be honest with you.
It's just telling you right now.
But that's what I wind up doing. But that's what I wind up doing. And then people are just like, oh, well, why do we waste time listening to this guy? And that's like,
you can and you do and you have. So,
yes, I know. I understand.
So commit to the decision that you're going to go write the stuff out for June 5th and it's going to be a full story.
Golly, I hope so.
No, commit.
Well, I'm going to try.
No,
we'll see.
There is no try.
Stop with your Yoda bullshit. You say that to me forever, and I hate it. Stop.
Well, I hate when you go, I'll try, because that says to me you don't care enough to do.
Well, this is the thing is I'm trying to be, because I have to change. Skill. Well, I got to change who I am as a dude. And normally.
You're not learning to climb a rock wall. You're writing your jokes that you've done for how many years now that are brilliant.
Well, but no, that's the thing is I haven't done jokes for years now. I don't perform nearly enough to say that. So I need to take them and structure them down.
You must drive your therapist crazy.
I don't make any excuses to her. I tell her everything is fine and she says good.
That's not how therapy works.
She seems to enjoy it. She thinks she's doing great. Look, I just want her to think she's doing a good job. That's it. That's why I go to therapy. I go for Shannon's ego. I just want her to think she's helping one dude. That's all that fucking matters.
You know what the funniest part of this whole conversation is?
Nothing.
When you have to announce what's coming in August right now.
Well, we'll get to that. Well, I will tell you this because I talk about I want to be back in the business. I want to do this. And look, man, I got my hair cut and I got headshots and I was excited. And then nothing. I didn't get an agent. I didn't try really. I mean, I didn't know what to do. And I put them on IMDb. I made my IMDb page with my facial presence. And then I put my weight back on so now I don't look like my headshots. So I'm like, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do? But I'm trying. And that's the thing is I need to get, so now I got to just reclimb the fucking mountain and push the boulder back up Sisyphusian style and just fucking move on and get things done. And that's what I got to do. So I'll do it.
So
right?
You're going to do it. You're
I don't know about all that. We will try.
I'm excited for the 2020.
But like I said, just like I wanted to go back and be a comedian person again, I also wanted to try to get back into auditioning and doing acting stuff. And so here's the thing. I had an audition, everybody. I'll go ahead and share that with you. Why not? Because again, like I said, I don't have an agent. So the way it is, there's these websites that are like, LA Casting or whatever, and you have to register with them, and you put your headshots up, and then there's an acting board, or I forget what they call it, a submissions board, and I get notifications if I'm right for anything. It's terrible. I mean, it's just, you don't stand a fucking chance.
Terrible.
You don't stand a chance.
And yet you got an audition.
Anyway, they were because my favorite thing is to always put out, because I listened to first of all, I have to go in and change my age right away, because I actually I was 35 to 50. I said I could play. And then I get these things for 35-year-olds, and I'm like, that's not me anymore. I can't be that guy. But the problem is also, I can't be like a dad, like a dad in a commercial, because of my hair. Like, I don't look like anybody's dad. I look like, maybe fucking Lord Humongous's dad, or fucking somebody from the Road Warrior. You know what I mean? Literally, that's why I look like some Mad Max dad. So, and look, changes are afoot. We'll talk about that all in year 10. Who knows what's going to happen to my life? But I sent in, there was an audition for something, and it was SAG. So that's the thing. I'm in the union, folks. I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm in the union. So that means you get the better jobs, or at least get looked at for the better jobs. And by looked at, I mean they pass over you immediately. Because that's the thing, because they have actual casting directors who bring in real humans. And then they got that weird submission board, and it's just like, hey, I'm in my house. Book me for something. It's so stupid. Normally, you should have your fucking agent go out there and toot your horn and go, hey, this is my guy. Check out this dude. And instead, it's just me going, click. There you go. That's somebody championing me. Click. That's going to get me an audition. But then it did. Now, I've only received 2 auditions from these boards. I think I don't know if I talked about the voiceover one on here. Yeah. Where, now you say that, but I don't know, because I might have told you just personally, where I went to audition for a Brazilian dystopian future show. Did I talk about that? Oh, it was a voiceover show. So there's this Brazilian Hunger Games nonsense, whatever the fuck. I don't even know, which seems weird, because, I mean, how can you have a Brazilian Hunger Games and then still have all these Brazilian grills in this town? I don't understand it. There's Fogo de Chaos everywhere. Nobody's hungry in Brazil. Get the fuck out of here. So I got to go in there, and they're like, which was nice. Because I have my demo on, I have my voiceover demo on there as well. See, why I should be, whatever. And nobody wants to hear me whine again about what I should be doing. I get it all the time. Everybody's like, dude, you should be doing this. And I will, yeah, you're right. Even when I drive over fucking idiots, I wind up talking to them, and people will go, man, you should work in commercials. Like, your voice is ridiculous. And I literally, my standard response is, tell this town. Like, literally, that's what I say. But also at the same time, it's not like I'm out there beating the bushes or trying to get a job. Part of me wants to go, like I said, I want to be fucking, what's her name? Rebecca De Mornay from that fucking movie where she kicks in and she starts singing and they're all like making fun of her. I didn't remember. I talked about that on here a million times. So I wound up getting this audition for this Brazilian thing, and I showed up, and they were all very nice, and they gave me water, and they were pleasant, and I had to go in and stand at the lectern, and they showed me a scene, and I had to be sinister and malevolent in the scene. And I mean, I can be sinister and malevolent, I guess, in real life. Like, if you piss me off, I suppose. But it's always weird for me, because that's the acting, that's the talent, that's the part of it. And I thought I did a really good job, and they also said I did a really good job. But I was trying to, they showed the guy on screen, and I'm like, I don't look anything like that dude. Like, that's the voice I'm supposed to be dubbing. But I tried it, you know what I mean? I wish I'd have saved the script, because it was, stuff like, oh, Colonel Wilson, your face tells me you've made a mistake. Like that kind of nonsense. And I pulled it off, and I did whatever I could, but I didn't get that job. So then months pass, and then I get, and I'm applying every day, by the way. If something comes up that I'm right for, boom. And I mean, I'm applying for shit that I'm absolutely right for. Like a buddy in a beer commercial who's hanging out with a guy at a football game. How do I not even get a fucking call? Get me in the fucking room. I can buddy up with somebody at a beer commercial in a fucking football game, whatever the fuck. I've done it before. I've got a litany of that. I was in Coors commercials, for fuck's sakes. I was in a show called The Jersey where I was shouting at people from the audience. They loved me. Back in the Young Schmidt days, and everything's gone to hell. So I'm like, all right, well, I keep trying, and I'm not getting called, and I keep trying. And then finally, I wound up trying out for, it was an audition for, they were vaguely descriptive about it. It was, this project is for television, like that sort of thing. And you're always like, but it was SAG, so I didn't give a fuck. If it's SAG, I apply and hope that something happens. Well, then I get pinged. Like 2 days later, they're like, hey, you have an audition. You're going to be here. I said, great. So, the part I auditioned for, because I had to write them and tell them I have a full beard right now, because they wanted a bearded person. That was the thing. It was like, you had to be this and you had to have a beard. And they said, are you familiar with Game of Thrones? And I will tell you, I've not seen one episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
Well, I know all the memes. I know red weddings. I know all of these things that have happened. But in particular, I knew this thing. They were looking for a Hodor.
Oh, Hodor.
So I know who that is. And I know of his, spoiler alert, I know, not even spoiler alert, I won't spoil it. I know some of Hodor's story, and I know some of the things that happen. Let's put it that way, without spoiling anything. So, and I also know that he only says one thing, which is...
Hodor.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. I was waiting for you.
Oh, I thought you were going to drop it like a...
Listen, I'm auditioning, okay? I can't... I need you to coach me through and tell me what my line is. What's my line?
Hodor.
Thank you. All right, so I get called in, and they go, we need you to be a Hodor. So you come into this audition. And it says, this is... I've auditioned in the past, okay? And they're always like, your audition's at 3:41, and so it's like, they're very meticulous about it. But there's certain casting directors that you go to where it's a fucking zoo. You walk in, there's 8 different people auditioning 8 different projects. There could be, a Volkswagen commercial right next door to a Chevy commercial, right next door to a tampon commercial. And all those people are walking around doing their lines. And it is, you want to film it. Like, I would love to periscope the shit out of just an audition room and just walk around so you could hear people speaking in Portuguese or whatever the fuck they're trying to do to get into character. And I've talked about this before. Lonely auditions I've gone to. A guy showed up in a full football uniform. People still do that kind of garbage. Well, it is. I mean, like, fuck. You either like me or you don't. If you can't, if I have to put on a T-shirt that makes you go, that's the guy, I'm not the guy. I'm clearly not the guy. Book the shirt. Johnny Bravo the shit out of this fucking commercial because I'm not the guy. So they tell me my audition is sometime between noon and 5.
Jesus.
And in my head, what that usually means is everybody's going to try to get in. It said auditions start at 10 a.m. I could come in between noon and 5 for the Hodors. And what I tried to do the math on it with actors because it was all the way on the other side of town. Yep. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to negotiate traffic. I'm not going to fucking noon. Okay. Cause I had to lift. I had to be in the gym with John, but, in my head, I go, you know what I'll do? I'll go as late in the day as possible. Because most of these motherfuckers try to get in as early as they possibly can and get it done so they can get on the road and, I don't know, go stare in a mirror or whatever the fuck these actors do. I don't know. They're all important. Or they have other auditions all over town, whatever the fuck. Yep. Now, so I say to myself, I'll go there maybe around 4 o'clock. I'll get there because that seems late enough in the afternoon. And then I'll be down on that side of town. So if I don't have to drive home in the traffic and I'll get something to eat or I'll hang out and do some shopping down there, whatever the fuck. Because I have no life other than that. My whole life is structured around going on the road and going back home and avoiding traffic. That's it. I got 20 once a month, the end. So I head down there at 4 o'clock and I find a parking spot right there, which is great because that never, ever happens in Los Angeles. Find a parking spot just about 30 feet from the door. I go walking up and there's easily 15 people outside the door, which is a terrible sign.
Yes, it is.
Because I walk up and you got to say, excuse me, a million times to a bunch of guys reading and going, Hodor, Hodor, Hodor. They're reading lines. I don't know why you're practicing that line, but good for you. So I go and negotiate my way in and there's people all in the hallway. And then the lobby of the fucking casting director, there's easily 90 people waiting.
Jesus.
Easily. And again, it's like one of those old scenes from a movie sound set where you got a cowboy with a lasso and then a princess walks by and then 4 showgirls in full on headdresses and then a hunchback, everybody that they're all there. And a lot of them are in costume, and the particular costume that is prevalent in this room of 90 people, a lot of doctor scrubs. So, I walk up and I'm like, excuse me, doctor, pardon me, doctor, excuse me, doctor. Cause I got to sign in for this audition. A lot of doctors crowded around the sign-in sheet. I walk up. Also, the sign-in sheet, never a good sign when you have to go 3 deep to sign your name. Wow. Because that means, you've got 3 pages of people to wait through. So I go and I flip the page, and I sign my name. And it's like, what role are you here for? Hodor. And I'm being a smart ass. So the guy goes, all right, what's your name? I go, Mike. He goes, what are you here for? I go, I'm here for the Hodors. He goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. Just find anywhere to sit. We'll get to you. I said, all right. Are there any sides? And he goes, excuse me. I go, are there any lines, like sides that I would need to look at? Because I know the only line is fucking Hodor. And he goes, no, are you familiar with the character of Hodor? I go, I'm teasing. I totally know who he is. He goes, all right, fine. That's he goes, you would be amazed who doesn't. So I walk away. And there's a bunch of doctors and a bunch of people with stethoscopes and fucking bullshit, and they're walking around. And I finally get my hands on a script to see what this is. Because I don't know what it is yet. I know it's a TV project. And I know it's not Game of Thrones 2, so they're not looking for a second Hodor or whatever the fuck. And I don't know if it's, and then I thought to myself, what if it's just a show constructed around Hodors and doctors? I mean, well, what the fuck could that be? Dr. Hodor MD. Perhaps I've wandered into that audition. Who the fuck knows? BJ and the Hodor. Maybe I'm in on that. I can't explain it. Medical Center featuring Hodor. Who knows? MASH. Many are simple Hodors. All right, so who knows? I'm not sure what it is, but there's doctors and Hodors all over the fucking joint. And chicks in hot pants, which is always, believe me, that's your ideal audition. I would love going to when they would have like a beer commercial and they were looking for girls. Holy, I felt terrible for these chicks because they all bust out their stripper heels, their cellulite fucking like 7-inch fucking heels. And they're all doing that makeup. And look, there's a lot of sexy things in the world. All right. But you know what? I gotta be honest. This is something I actually think I am a fan of. I don't know what it is. I must've seen an image as a child that has stuck with me on this forever. But to see a woman doing her fucking lipstick in a compact, or in a handheld mirror to do it, and then smudge like the sides of her mouth with her thumb or her pinky. I don't know what it is about it, but it drives me out of my fucking mind.
That makes you like that seriously.
Well, I mean, I'm aware of some of the things that I
there
feel.
You go. That's it.
But it does. That's a home run. That's a fucking Jesse Owens. Fuck you, Hitler. That's what that is. I mean, you're just staring. That is a serious.
A Jesse Owens.
Yeah,
fuck you,
that's a
Hitler?
3-pointer at the buzzer. That's a triumph. That's what I'm going with. It's just like you're running as fast as you can. You know what that is? That's a curly laying on the ground and going whoop, and just spinning around in a circle. Yeah, that's the fucking wild hyacinth of chicks. That's a KO bossy move. That's fucking beautiful. All right. By the way, poor Tom's Googling all this. At the show last night, there's a guy named Tom who listens to the show, and he told me he Googles after I finish talking, I do a show, he takes notes and then he Googles the things I talked about so he can understand it better. And I was like, that's the fucking listener you want. That's the guy. You don't want somebody who's just like, whatever that fucking nonsense was. No, you want a guy who fucking gets a bibliography and fucking straightens it all out and then re-listens to the show to go, oh, I get it in this context now. Good for you, Tommy.
I love that you call him Tommy. It's so dumb.
Why not? That's his name.
Because he's like a member of Mensa and he's a Tom.
All right. Well, good
Toms
for him.
Are smart. Tommies are little boys that have guns.
Well, that's who he is, in my opinion. Come on. Get a road movie.
It makes me laugh every time you call him.
Let's get a road movie, me and Tommy hitting the road together. Me talking, him just taking notes, looking everything up. What was that reference? So I'm there, and there's doctors and Hodors all over the place, and women in hot pants, and I love that fucking makeup and the smudging of the fucking, oh yeah, god damn it, that's fucking sexy as hell. Slide that thumb a little over. Just put your thumb in your mouth. Do that. All right, so why stop it? That's fucking, come on. That's geniusly hot. There should be like a burlesque chick who does like a I'm a baby type stripping thing, but she starts out with like her thumb in her mouth.
Have you
and
ever
just
seen Olive do Linus?
No.
Okay.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I should probably do that. Well, she's all, but Olive's all tiny. Like she's like.
Yeah, it's hot.
I like
it's
tiny.
Hot.
I'm not gonna lie. I like small. All right. So.
He comes out and strips as Linus, and then at the end of it, just like. I know.
And throws the thumb in the mouth. Yeah. Ooh. See, now I'm in.
Yeah, it's hot.
I'll grate her.
It's creepy.
I'll grate her pumpkin. All right. So.
Oh,
you good?
Hi-oh.
How are you?
He just adjusted his tie.
When you do that, you have to adjust your tie. It's part of the bit. You have to do that right there. Just. All right.
Videotape that.
No, we should not ever.
Yes, let's do it.
Don't you dare. Please don't. Please. I took a picture of you and I posted it already to avoid you fucking using the phone this goddamn way because nobody wants to hear me do this. Bullshit.
Everybody loves the preview.
Nobody loves it.
Let's
Nobody
do it.
does. Why
Let's
are
do
you
it.
stop
You
your
ready?
nonsense? No.
Do the tie for me.
No.
Okay, now.
No. See, nobody wants that. Why are you doing this? Because again, people will then listen and they're like, "Oh my god, I hate it." Nobody wants this video companion.
They love it.
Terrible. All right, so I'm there and there's tons of Hodors and tons of doctors and tons of hot pants. Maybe it's Dr. Hodor and the hot pants. Maybe I'm in on that. Ooh. It'll be like Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine. You remember that movie from the 60s?
Yes.
Dr. Hodor and the hot pants. Again, I don't know what it is until I get my hands on the sides. Now, I know my line. I've memorized Hodor. I know how to say that, for fuck's sake. But I need to know what these doctors are going to be talking about in case I'm in a scene. I want to know how to react properly. So I get the thing, and it turns out this product, this project for television is not I don't think it's a television show. It doesn't specifically say it's a television program. I think it was an infomercial. And it was an infomercial, but it could be, I don't know. Again, there's so many hybrids these days. Well, here's why. Because it was for the product SodaStream. You know what SodaStream is?
Yeah.
All right, where you go ahead and you fill out this thing, and you add syrup and water, and you make your own soda, basically. It's a hobo factory is what it is. It's for people who can't afford a Coke. That's what this fucking machine is. Hey, spend $80 on a machine because you can't buy your own fucking Coke. What the fuck is wrong with people? I can't wait to make my own soda. People make fucking soda, all right? You don't need a soda making machine in your fucking house. Seriously. Terrible. I don't understand people and their nonsense. I'd see those things on the shelf, and I'm just like, who wants to make their own soda? It seems weird. And then I knew people who had it, and I was like, and I had to bite my tongue. I'm like, I don't know why you'd want to make your own soda. But I guess it's fun and easy. And maybe you do it with your kids. I don't fucking know. But it was always for me a question mark. But this is an ad for SodaStream. But it's a long, I think it's a half hour or an hour long SodaStream presentation. So I assumed it was an infomercial, but it didn't say infomercial on the sheet that I looked at. However, it did have a name of the star, because I had to go through and read all the vignettes. And in one segment, they were looking for limo drivers who would drive the star around. And I apologize, limousine/Uber drivers who would drive the star around and have a conversation. And they wanted it to be a Russian Uber driver who didn't speak proper English, but would always follow this person around. And then the Hodors, their scene, I couldn't find the sides for it, but apparently there was a party with a bunch of Hodors, I assume. I don't know. But they had these people, and there's the hot pants and the medical doctors, and the medical doctors were to give some fucking fake, like, weird thing about SodaStream. So I sit down, I'm looking, and the star of this SodaStream presentation, the person who has now undertaken the hardcore heavy lifting of bringing SodaStream into your homes, is the white hot, hotter than hot, never been hotter in her life as a celebrity, top of the news scale right now, that the news... what's that? Not news scale, news cycle. If you were to think of it right now, who's the top of the news cycle? If you were thinking of the hottest name you could possibly book for your SodaStream commercial, who is it? Of course it's Paris Hilton. Of course it is.
What?
Why wouldn't you book Paris Hilton for your SodaStream commercial? Because your technology was popular 15 years ago, right when Paris Hilton was.
What the hell?
I could not figure it out. I was trying to make some sort of sense out of the script. And it's like Paris Hilton is this star, and she gets an Uber driver who has to take her to this medical thing, and that's where the doctors come in. And then I couldn't see where the Hodors were, but the girls in hot pants were all like hanging around her house. I couldn't figure it out, dude. I was trying. I was even reading it, and I'm going, this makes no sense. Because they were trying to be funny. So that was the thing, is she got to be funny and make fun of everybody else in the script, which of course I'm sure appealed to her. She wasn't the joke. She wasn't the punchline. She was the awesome Paris Hilton who has to make fun of the Russian Uber driver and, gets to like roll her eyes and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, you guys really have your fingers on the pulse of 2002 America. Oh, good for you. Let me ask you this. Does Nicole Richie like soda? Oh my God, get the two of those two together and have them go drink soda on a farm and film it. That's fantastic. And they can point at the icky chicken farmers and go, ew, and then go home and eat a bowl of diamonds. Get the fuck out of here. But that's the move. They want to cast Paris Hilton to sell SodaStream. So in my mind, I'm like, well, this obviously is my big break. Clearly, I am going to the top of the fucking charts when I am the fake Hodor in the Paris Hilton SodaStream ad. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching doctors and I'm watching hot pants and I'm watching everybody. And the best part is watching the doctors try to talk to the hot pants. Oh, that's always fun.
Was it like reality?
Always good. Well, no, because real doctors would actually go home with the hot pants. But when you're just wearing like your cousin's scrubs, you have no shot with the hot pants. Zero chance. You can try. You can take because I literally saw a guy sitting next to a hot pants and he has the one with the stethoscope and he put it on her shoulder. Like he was listening to her shoulder.
Oh,
and she kind of jumped because it was cold. But unfortunately hot pants then looked at him and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm trying to listen to your heartbeat. Isn't this where your heart is? I'm just trying to, and ha ha ha. And he laughs. And then she just goes, oh, I get it. Ha. And then she laughed. And I went, really? That worked? Stethoscope worked? Because again, he was a decent looking guy, but fuck. Fake scrubs and stethoscope worked, and heart in the shoulder? God damn it. Well, it worked on her, and they talked. So I was sitting there, and then I'm looking down the hallway, and like I said, there's a bunch of people in the room, a bunch of people outside in the hallway, and then a bunch of people outside in front of the casting director's place. And then down the hallway, there is a... Is that a base? What the fuck is happening in your house?
That's a guy driving by with a lowrider car.
I see. Well, you do live in that town. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yes, I do.
You do live in Lowrider, California. So in addition to the actual room where I'm in, and like I said, there's people outside and people out front, there's a Hitchcock hallway that goes down to the audition room. And that's also filled with people sitting on benches and on the floor. And I realized that that's where people who are next are sent. Because there's also 2 other holding rooms down there that have casting directors. And I don't know if they're talking to the people. I don't fucking know. I can't get into that hallway yet. It's not my turn. I'm not allowed in the hallowed hallway. I got to sit out front with a bunch of hot pants and scrubs and everybody else out in the fucking, sitting on the stoop outside, running their lines going, Hodor, Hodor, Hodor. Fuck. It's Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. So I can't get into that hallowed hallway. But then I look down. I'm looking, because I'm taking the scope of the place. I look down in the hallowed hallway. And one of the doors opens, because there's the door where they're holding the auditions, and there's the 2 side doors with other casting directors. And out of one of those offices walks Kevin Nash. Now, Lily, you look at me with a puzzled look because you don't know who Kevin Nash is.
I recognize the name, but I can't.
Kevin Nash is a former professional wrestler.
Okay, I know exactly who he is.
Who is now an actor. And the reason I know it's Kevin Nash is because this guy is 7 feet tall, and he has grayish, like the most unbelievably brilliant mane of beautiful brown gray hair past his shoulders. And I see him walk out of the thing, and I'm just like, holy fuck. And I don't know if he's A, there for a different project, or B, because either he's A, there for a different project, or B, he's not a doctor. He's not a hot pants. If he's here for Hodor, the rest of us can pack it up and Hodor our ass out of there. One of us can Hodor for everybody else, and we'll walk out to our cars. What the fuck is Kevin Nash even auditioning for this fucking role for? Why is he there? If he's there, give him the part. If he even bothered or deigned to come down to the casting place, then by all means, give him the fucking gig. But he's there just like everybody else. And I'm like, holy fuck. So now I see him and I immediately go, holy fuck, that's Kevin Nash. And a dude looks at me and I go, what? And I go, Kevin Nash, did you see him? And he goes, no. And I go, how the fuck did you miss him? And he's a fucking scrub. So I go, I go, watch. And then he comes through the hallway again. He walks back and everybody, and the guy goes, dude. And I go, yeah. I go, wait. I go, if he's a doctor, you're in trouble. And if he's a Hodor, I'm in trouble. And the guy just like looks down at his sides, and because nobody's entertained by me at these things. So I'm waiting. They're calling names. I'm waiting to go audition. And again, I have no idea why you're even seeing Hodors if Nash is there for the part. So I go out in the hallway, and there's some Hodors commiserating when they're Hodorisness. And I'm like, did you guys see Kevin Nash? And they're like, what? And I go, Kevin Nash is here. What the fuck? What's he here for? And they go, maybe he's here for like a different thing. And I go to the sign-in sheet. There's no other projects, just, Paris Hilton star making turn selling you soda seltzer water. So I'm like, I think he's here for us. Like, I mean, we got no shot. They're like, well, where was he? I go, he's down at the end of the hallway. So then they all fucking come in, and we're all crowded in this room waiting to get a glimpse of Nash. And Nash walks out again. Everybody's like, Jesus Christ, why is he here? Because again, striking figure, just this big dude. And again, he's a 7 foot tall dude with hair down in the middle of his fucking back, like gray, brown. He's gorgeous. He's just a gorgeous looking dude. He's been in movies. He's in John Wick. He's actually working the door. He's a bouncer in one of the John Wick scenes. Whatever, you know him the second you see him. And even if you don't know wrestling, you go, holy fuck, who's that unbelievably stunning 7 foot guy with the unbelievable gray brown hair? So I'm waiting my turn to audition. I see scrubs, I see hot pants, and they start getting the Hodors in character. And they're like, all right, who's here? Who's here for Hodor? We raise our hands. They go, is everybody here familiar with Hodor? And there are guys who are like, I have no idea who he is. And also recognize the fact that we all look exactly alike. We're all big, dumpy guys with fucking huge beards. I mean, that's just that's who they want, because that's who they. So I look around and it's so funny because I think my beard looks okay sometimes. I'll wake up and I'm like, well, it looks all right if I don't fucking, put my hair all the way back, or I actually can pull it off. Then you see like 10 other dudes. You're like, I look like these dudes. This is fucking awful. I got to shave everything. I got to get my entire body and face waxed. I'd rather go albino mole rat than look like these dumpy motherfuckers. But I'm a dumpy motherfucker, apparently. Hodor. So they call us over and they're like, who's not familiar with Hodor? And there's a couple of people who are like, well, we don't know who that is. We're not sure. So he goes, I got a scene I'll show you from Game of Thrones. Now, again, I have not seen Game of Thrones at all, but I know some of the things that happen. And I think to myself, well, do I really want to spoiler alert myself here by watching Hodor do his Hodor stuff? And I go, fuck, I'll just tune it in. So they show us a clip. And again, no spoilers, but basically you see Hodor doing Hodor things. And then he also says the word Hodor, which is the only thing he can fucking Hodor say. Hodor. And the guys are like, oh. My favorite part is that the two guys who were like, didn't get it. They go, oh. All right, we get it now. Oh, you get it now, do you? Oh, good. I'm sorry that it took you this long to get into character when your one line was the word Hodor. They wanted dumpy motherfuckers with beards to say Hodor, and you had to see that clip to go, now I got it, figured it out. I know exactly how I'm going to approach this role. So they start calling people in. And here's the thing. I will tell you this. In addition to me, there are other Hodors, as I've mentioned, who look like me with the fucking beard and stuff. But there are other people there for Hodor who look nothing like Hodor. There are really tall, skinny guys with accentuated features. But the guy, there was a dude who looked like the guy who, in The People Under the Stairs, the Wes Craven movie. You know that dude who was in the movies he was in the Aaron Burr commercial? Aaron Burr with the peanut butter in his mouth? Yeah. That weird fucking jack-o'-lantern face. So that's the thing is I start to realize they're not looking just for Hodors. They want weird motherfuckers who can say Hodor. That's what they were looking for because they got a tall, like Ichabod Crane looking motherfucker. They got a bunch of really fat guys, like a guy who kept pulling up his sweatpants. Like he had sweatpants and sandals. And I'm like, did he think that Hodor wore sweatpants and sandals? Or is he that disgusting that he goes out in sweatpants and sandals being fucking 500 pounds? It was horrifying. Gross. But he's there and he's all Hodorish and he's got his fucking beard with crumbs in it and looking nasty. And then there are midgets. There are midget Hodors. There are fat Hodors. There are tall Ichabod Crane Hodors. Now I should tell you this. The midget, there was two midgets. One of them was, he was dressed appropriately for midgets. Whatever that means, I don't know. He wore a helmet to avoid low-swinging bowls or whatever the fuck. But the other midget is in full gladiator regalia. He's wearing like chain mail and a fucking like shoulder pads and he's he's like and doing the little midget walk. And I'm like, dude, I don't care what kind of chain mail you got. You're still getting your ass beat. You're a fucking midget. You're still going to get a fucking machete in the head. I don't give a fuck how unless you like, and not like a Gimli midget, not like that kind of cool ass big fucking, he was a totally bald, unbearded, just midget in chainmail. And I was like, all right, well, and because then you start to lose faith in yourself. You're like, you realize I bring nothing to this. As I've talked about before, when you go to auditions, you're hoping they're looking for something you can do. They've called Mike Schmidt for a specific reason. But in reality, I just realized I was in a pile of Hodors. That's it. So, they start calling scrubs. They start calling hot pants. They call some Hodors. They put us, and finally, they call me in a group of 7 Hodors. I happen to be in with sweatpants and sandals, and I happen to be in with fucking chainmail midget. So they bring us into the hallway, and we have to sit on this bench and wait to get called in. And they're bringing us all in at once, so we can all do we can just hit them with a big fucking Hodor money shot at once in their face. They can wipe their brow and go, thank you for your time. So we sit down on the bench. And I'm sitting next to fucking sweatpants and sandals, and he's just disgusting. And we're in the hallway, and there's a sign on the wall. And it's a paper sign that they stuck to it, and it just says, "Please be quiet. There are people auditioning in the casting rooms." So we sit down, and there's scrubs, and there's hot pants, and there's a bunch of people milling around in the hallway. And this is the hallowed hallway. There's not supposed to be anybody in here but Hodors. This is now Hodor's hallowed hallway. But now there's some scrubs and some hot pants making their way in because they're looking for the restroom or water. It's like, we're trying to get in a fucking Hodor character here, man. What is your problem? And I'm sitting next to sweatpants and sandals, and he looks at me, and he goes, so when do you think we're going to hear about this? And I go, please, be quiet. There are people auditioning in the casting rooms. And he looks at me just like, oh, I'm sorry. And he just shuts up. Like I just point at the sign on the fucking wall, and I'm pointing it to him so he gets that it's a joke that I said it, but he thinks I'm reiterating. He goes, I heard you. It's fine. I don't need to read the sign. I'm like, no, Sandals, no. But I didn't give a fuck because I thought it was funny. Please be quiet. There are people auditioning in the casting rooms. He's like, God, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, dude, sign. I know, I got it. I heard you. Ugh.
And you hate hecklers. The irony.
That's not a heckler. That's being funny.
I'm kidding.
That wasn't heckling. That was being funny. Fuck, you're right. Again, I'm dumb. I was stupid. I should have never engaged the guy in a conversation. If I try to be funny, it's wrong.
God, Mike, stop.
Jesus fucking Christ. It was a funny thing to do. And because again, it's a dumb thing I've done my whole life. If you see a sign, if someone like walks up and you're by a stop sign, you just go, stop.
I just...
You're right. I'm wrong. I apologize, sweatpants and sandals, if you tuned in. I apologize to you with all Hodor sincerity and hope we can somehow hug it out in Hodor solidarity. Fuck. Again, I'm wrong. So we're waiting. We're waiting to get called in. And in my head, because I don't know what the audition is going to be. I don't know if we're just going to step forward and go, hi, Hodor, and then step back. I got no clue. So we go inside, and they're like, hi, it's good to, thank God you guys have waited as long as you did. Because I should tell you this. I only waited 45 minutes. It was 4:45 by the time I got called in. So, and that, I don't care because I'm looking at Hot Pants. That's fine with me. I'm staring at Hot Pants. Watching Scrubs get into fucking character. The guy with the stethoscope killed me. So we go in and they got a passel of 8 Hodors in there. It's me in sweatpants and sandals and the midget. And in my head, they tell us what we need to do. They go, all right, here's the thing. Are you familiar with Hodor? And everybody's like, yes, we are. And they go, well, he says Hodor, and then that's it. So what we want here is we want this to be like a reunion or a party, but all you can say is Hodor. So you're all greeting each other for the very first time, and you're like long lost friends, and you're excited. And so we're all going to shake hands, and we're going to talk. And I know, and immediately, I want to stand out. I want to do something that's going to make me stand out because there's a ton of us. We're all Hodors. I either shrink completely to the back in that situation or I go, all right, I'm going to do something silly that they're going to talk about. Like point at the sign and go, please be quiet. That's funny to me. I know it's not to you or to sweatpants and sandals, but it was funny to me in the goddamn moment. So in my head, I'm waiting and I'm like, all right, and in my head, I go, you know what you're going to do here? Because we're all supposed to just shake hands and see each other and be friends. And it's, like I said, a long-lost reunion of Hodors at a party. And in my head, I said, all right, I'm going to pick up the midget.
No.
I said, because that will allow me to stand out, certainly among everybody else. And then in my head, I go, dude, because again, please recognize that this whole process takes place in 45 seconds. Because we're all slating ourselves and you have to step forward and go, hi, I'm Mike Schmidt. And you give me your side profiles and you stand back. And everybody else is doing it. And, midget, they tip the camera, they see him. And in my head, I go, you're going to pick up the midget. And then in my head, I go, do not pick up the midget.
Yes.
Absolutely do not pick up the midget. Because that makes you stand out as a fucking jagoff and it steals the midget's thunder. Because then it shows that in battle, he would be crushed by a true Hodor. And I don't want that to be the case. We're all friends here. We're pals. We're at a Hodor party. It's a Hodor hoedown, if you will. So I don't want to fucking give him a hard time, and I want to give him a chance to shine as well. So in my head, I'm literally, and again, this whole thought process is in 45 seconds. Pick up the midget. Do not pick up the midget. Absolutely do not pick up the midget because that's wrong. But, well, you want to stand out, but you don't want to stand out like that. You don't want to stand out as the guy who picked up the midget because you'll be the story the rest of the time at the fucking casting thing. So I go, you know what? Just don't, literally, in my head, like a mantra, don't pick up the midget. Don't pick up the midget. Don't pick up the midget. And they're like, all right, everybody get in place, and we're going to do a party scene, and all right, and action. Hodor, 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 Hodor. And everybody's going, Hodor, Hodor. And they're saying Hodor and they're shaking hands. Hodor, and I'm shaking hands. And Sweatpants comes over and he puts out his hand and I pat him on the shoulder because I'm not touching that disgusting hand. Ha ha, Hodor. And I'm doing that. Hodor, ha ha, Hodor. And I'm pointing at people and going, you, Hodor, oh, Hodor. I'm not saying you because you can't say that. But I'm going, ha ha, Hodor. Hey, Hodor. A lot of things with H's. And I'm walking around and I'm making my way through the ceremonial line and I'm waiting for them to yell cut. And finally I get to the end and there's the midget. And in my head I go, do not pick up the midget. Do not pick up the midget. And then my body goes, fuck you, pick up the midget, goddammit. And so I bend over with my hand out extended to him, and he puts his hand out and he clasps my forearm, like in that kind of like brotherhood forearm shake. And I actually pull him toward me to lift him up. But if a handshake had happened, he would have come right into my chest and I could have picked him up midget style and been all happy about it. Unfortunately, he clasped my forearm. So when I pulled him forward, he turned around and his back was to me, and I threw my arms around his chest and lifted him up that way. So he was facing the camera as I lifted him from behind.
Oh, no.
So not only am I lifting the midget, I am now Heimlicking the Hodor midget.
Oh my god!
And my favorite part of the entire thing is I reach out, I go, Hodor, he goes, Hodor, and I reach out and he grabs my forearm and I yank him toward me, he goes, Hodor? And I put my arms around him, lift up, and he goes, Hodor, Hodor, Hodor! He yells it 3 times as I lift him in the air. And basically Heimlich him, and then I put him down, and I'm like, and he's bald, so what do I do then? Of course, at the end, I pat him on the head, I go, Hodor! Because I had not diminished his role enough
Oh my god!
in the Hodor audition. It came instinctually. I didn't mean to, but I lifted him up like with a Heimlich, and I lifted him in the air. He's like, Hodor, Hodor, Hodor. And then I put him down. And I go, Hodor. And I patted him on the head like a friendly doggy.
Oh my god.
Cut. And everybody just starts laughing, even the casting director. And this is what I did not want it to be. I did not want to make the midget the focal point of humor. Hodor humor is for everyone. It's not at the expense of a midget. But sure enough, he looks up at me and I go, I don't have any idea why that happened. And he just looks at me and he goes, Hodor. Midget gets it. Just shakes his head at me in disgust. Hodor. He's furious. Thank you. Next.
Oh my god.
We walk outside, and I just want to get to my car and get the fuck out of there. Because I'm not getting this part. I'm never getting this part. I've ruined my life. I've ruined his. I've ruined everybody's. And as I'm walking out, Kevin Nash comes out. I see him. He goes out the side door, and I'm like, well, fuck. He's here. And when he walks out of the casting director's office, one of the guys I had told, he goes, hey, Nash. And I look over and there's Nash. And he does not come out the front. He goes out the side. So I figure he's parked in the back. And I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm meeting him. I'm getting a photo just because I have to at this point. Normally I wouldn't do that. But Nash is 7 feet fucking tall, you know. And he's Kevin Nash. Why not? You have to, right? So he walks out the side door. And me and like a couple of, I go, did you see Kevin Nash? He went out, and they go, we got to talk. I go, yeah, we got to talk to him. So I go, follow me. And we walk out and he's there. And all you just see hair billowing down the street. And he's walking and I go, Mr. Nash, Mr. Nash. And as I'm getting closer, he's ignoring me is what he's doing. And then I go, Mr. Nash. And he stops and he turns around and he goes, hey. I go, hey, I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan. He goes, great. My name's Robert. It's not Kevin Nash.
What?
I told the whole room that Kevin Nash was there. Mr. Nash, big fan. I want to get a picture. I reach out my hand to shake his hand. He goes, great. My name's Robert. And I go, what? And then as I realize I'm close to him, he's not 7 feet tall. He's maybe 6'6". But from the end of the fucking Hitchcock Hodor hallway, he's a giant with that giant hair. I said, oh. So were you here auditioning? He goes, yeah, for the Hodor part. I said, all right, Robert, nice to meet you. I shook his hand. He goes, yeah, I hear that a lot, actually. I shook his hand. He goes to walk away. And I turn around. The 4 guys who were with me, gone. Completely, they're gone. Left me out there alone. And I just went, fucking Hodor. Got in my car and fucking fought traffic. So take heart, everybody who stuck around through the beginning of the show. Not only have I become terrible at stand-up, but I'm still terrible at acting. That's fantastic. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friends at facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can find me at Instagram and Snapchat. I am at Mike40YOB. You can find me at either of those places. Send me some Instagrams. Send me some Snapchats. Like our friend Lemon916, who lives over in England. I'm saying both of those things wrong, I think, on purpose, because he then sent me, this is funny, he sent me, I wish I could tape Snapchat, but you can't, it goes away. He's like, Mike, I'm Welsh, not English, and fuck you for getting it wrong, and if you don't change it on this week's show, I'm going to shoot myself in the head. And I'm like, well, punish me some more? I mean, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. Put your Welsh brains all over the fucking wall, Lemon917, or whatever the fuck. His name's like Lemon916 or 619. I don't remember which. And in my head, I go, I'm just going to be wrong again. I'm going to do it wrong. But I'm like, really? What if he is fucking unstable? I don't know if he's Welsh. So he might blow his fucking brains out. But so he sends me.
Guns there?
In Welshland?
In
I don't know.
Welshland.
I don't know. He'll kill himself with a fucking.
Welshtopia.
Yeah, a fucking rabbit, whatever. I don't know. I'm sure he'll have a Bobby hit him with a big Q-tip or whatever the fuck they carry. Yeah, that's like the fucking hat. So, all right. So if you're on Snapchat, send me a note is my point. There are people out there. There's a gentleman named Andrew Reynolds who constantly sends his meals out. He's like, here's me eating I was going to say an enchilada. What's the fucking? Enchilada. There you go. He's eating one of those.
My boyfriend is Mexican.
Oh, yeah. So you nailed it down. Well, you got some Mexican in you.
Sometimes.
Yes, you do. All right. So I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Instagram. Find me in those places and send me notes and photos. Why not? I'm your pal. I'm your internet chum. I deserve to know what you're eating for dinner. I deserve to know how many times you can find Vimto and send me pictures of it. You fuck. That's another person who keeps sending me things. I don't want to say their names. I don't want to give away badges of honor on who these people. You know what's funny? People kept sending me Snapchats, and I never answered them. And I would read them, and people wrote me very nice things a couple of weeks ago and stuff, and I'd read them, but I didn't answer. And then I go, well, I'll just go back in and read what they wrote. Well, it disappears. I have no fucking clue.
Yep.
So there were I had 100 Snapchats to answer. So all from people who wrote nice things or just sent me whatever, a photo. And so I answered all of them, and I'm writing them back. But the thing is, as I'm writing them, they're writing me back. So then it causes that fucking cycle. And all of them, I go, look, I got to be honest. Your thing disappeared. This is from 2 months ago. I don't even know what it said, but thank you for writing me. And people would write me and they go, I don't even know what I wrote you. I have no clue. Because, Snapchat is just erasing our minds one fucking click at a time.
Take a picture of yourself going, ha-ha, and send it back.
Yeah, I could. But then the problem is I got to stand up and take a good picture. I'm usually, when I read those things, I'm sitting in a fucking chair in my living room, and I'm like, well, nobody wants to see me in a chair in my fucking living room. And then I've done it where I've set up the Snapchat and I've spun it around to see my goofy bearded head, and I'm like, Hodor. I can't fucking send that.
Just send a picture of your knee or your shoe.
Literally, my view when I usually do it is I'm sitting in my chair with my leg up over one of the arms of my chair, and there'll be a UFC on in the distance. So I almost take that photo. It's just my shoe there, and then the TV with the UFC or a cooking show. This is what I'm doing right now. Yeah, but then they answer me and they go, this is what I'm doing right now. And then we're having a conversation. Fuck. Which is not a problem. I like having conversations with you people. I'm just teasing. Especially you, Lemon196, from wherever the fuck you in England. In Scottish. He's Scottish. I don't know what it is. He's in Scottish.
It's not I-69.
Whoa, it could be Lemon I-69. That's a sour 69. Although lemon brightens up everything, I got to be honest with you. I put a lemon. Lemon will wake up a mayonnaise and a crab salad. Lemon will wake up a steak. If you put lemon on a steak, honestly, it'll fucking totally change your life. Put lemon on everything. You should just squirt it on there. Fucking not just seafood. Lemon's for everything.
How is it on a penis?
Well, I haven't had cock recently, so
How
I mean,
is it on a vagina?
I'm sure I would enjoy it. I don't know if the other person would.
I don't think I want lemon
No.
on my vagina.
I can tell you how honey tastes on a vagina if you want to know about that.
Does it taste more honey or more vagina?
I mean, it all just works together, and probably the best thing you've ever tasted in your fucking
I
life.
doubt it. But
No,
okay.
trust me, it is absolutely.
I doubt it. I really like Ruth's Chris.
Well, you know, it's funny. You put honey on a vagina, it sizzles just like a steak coming out of Ruth's Chris.
God, I wish I could go to Ruth's Chris. They cook it in butter. I can't go.
God, I wish I could have honey on a vagina. All right, so.
I'm sure you can.
No, well, I wish I
I
had.
just don't think you're ready yet.
Well, never mind. I like specific ingredients. All right, so. I'm pretty sure.
I have some marijuana honey if you want to borrow.
I'm pretty sure the honey-covered vagina I'm thinking of is off the shelf. That's what I'm guessing. I'm
I
assuming.
think the honey-covered vagina you're thinking of is expired.
I just think I think I have to have a department store card to get that particular honey-covered vagina. I'm not allowed to shop at that store any longer. God damn it. All right, so hi. So find me at Instagram or Snapchat and all those places at Mike40YOB, 40YOB, and be my pal, be my friend. Send me a photo. Send me what you're eating.
Have you retweeted the pictures I put out from the last 2020?
Of course not. Why would I do that? Anyway. Oh, you know what? I was gonna talk about something else. I should talk about it now. Fuck it, because I don't want to talk about it on the other side. Well, because you kept referencing August. And should I talk about it on the other side or talk about it now?
Just talk. That's what you do.
You're the fucking producer. You produce.
I wanted to talk about it at the beginning, but you wouldn't.
Well, I had to Hodor up. I had to tell the fucking Hodor story. Well, people had to hear about how bad I am at acting still. All right, I'll just fucking throw this out there. Because there are people who turn this off because they don't want to hear the plugs at the end. I'm sure. Although, again, nobody's fucking listening because I whinged my way through the fucking beginning of this goddamn show. Here's another thing I can't do, and I don't do it well, and I used to do it well before, and what the fuck is wrong with me? Shut up. Nobody fucking cares, dude.
Nobody cares.
Literally, everybody turns it off and goes to listen to Yeah, Dude, and goes, hey, these guys are all funny. Remember them?
Yeah, dude?
Yeah, Dude. It's a podcast. Everybody tells me, like, you should be on that show. And I'm like, I would love to be on that show, but I don't know anybody in that show. But weirdly enough, they're friends with me on Facebook. Like John Larroquette, his kid, I think, is one of the hosts. And somehow he and I became friends on Facebook. But people are like, you should totally do that show, dude. I'm like, I would love it. Tell them. I got no.
Send press out.
Who does that nonsense?
Me.
Well, see, then you do that show.
I will.
I can't. All right, you do it. You tell me how it is. Well, you're there throwing a word for me. All right, so let's just talk about it. Folks, mark your calendars. Write this down. I'll talk about it on the other side. I don't want to talk about it now.
Right now, just say it.
Folks, mark your calendars. August 12th, Saturday night. August 12th. Hot August Nights with Neil Diamond. But not that night. That night, you got to deal with Mike Schmidt and Lily Von Stupp coming to Kansas City. At the Outburst Theater on Willamette Road, I think it is, or something like that. Willamette, I don't know. Tickets are not on sale yet. We are still structured. Literally, we booked this right before I turned the microphone on. So August 12th, Saturday night, early show me, late show Lily, and she's going to have some, we don't know yet. She might have burlesque dancers. It might be a burlesque show that she hosts. It might be her just talking and taking her clothes off. I'm not sure. So see, you want to go to that show. I'm in the beginning. Nobody cares about me. I'm just going to be there talking and doing whatever. I'll talk for a couple hours, and then I'm going to turn the microphone over to Ace Frehley and Lily Von Stupp. So Outburst Theater in Kansas City, August 12th. It's a Saturday night. Mark your calendars because, our friend Erica, our friend Terry, they both said they would come both nights. They were like, hey, man, if you have it in June and August, they would come to all of them. So you can put your money where your mouth is and see if you can come out and see both of us in one night on a Saturday in August. August 12th, Saturday, Outburst Theater, Kansas City, Missouri. Come out and check out me and Lily Von Stupp doing separate shows, not together. But then afterwards, we may do it where I do a show, and then we'll get some food, and we'll have like a party thing, and then we'll all hang out and get pizzas, and then we'll all watch Lily together at the end, and then we'll hang out all night. I mean, I just want it to be, I don't want it to just be dry shows and then everybody dissipates. If you want to hang out all night, we can do a slumber party. Fuck. If people wanted to come and crash in our hotel room and hang out, we would fucking do that. So let's make it a fun all-night binge. And maybe we could watch like monster movies in the hotel room. That'd be totally cool. Fucking turn all the lights out and then we'd all pile out like 12 of us into a bed and watch monster movies. I'm excited for this plan. I want to hang out with people is my point. So
I would like to sleep in the hotel room.
Well, all right, then we'll watch monster movies in the rent-a-car.
Okay.
Or why don't you sleep in the rent-a-car and watch monster movies in the hotel room? Why are you sleeping? Oh, this is a cool-ass thing. We're going one night out of your life. You can go and we'll just spend the all night eating pizza and joking around and watching stuff and hanging out.
I am physically disabled. I can't pull an all-nighter anymore. I can't. I will be.
Well, it's not a train. I mean, you just got to sit there and watch fucking shows.
I have to have naps and shit too because of my eye.
Please be quiet.
Okay.
There are people auditioning in the casting rooms. So, Hodor. All right, so there it is, man. Outburst Theater, August 12th. Me and Lily. I'll be early. She'll be late. And then I'm hoping to hang out afterwards. Lily's going to just go back to the room. But I'm cool. So we'll go to Oklahoma Joe's. Whatever the fuck you want to do, man. We're only in town for like one day. So let's make the most of it.
Well, we could do a Sunday morning brunch, too.
Well, at Oklahoma Joe's.
You could probably do a Saturday night dinner.
I don't eat for a show.
Or a Friday night dinner, I mean.
Well, no, because we're getting there at 1:20 in the morning.
Oh, that's right. We're taking the really late show, probably.
Yeah, because we want the nonstop. I don't want to have 9 stops on the way to fucking Kansas City. So who cares? The point, and maybe we alter this. Maybe we add a Friday date too, and we do shows then. If the ticket response is enough, and you guys really want to do it, maybe we do that. Right now, though, Saturday, August 12th, Outburst Theater, Kansas City, Missouri. I'm doing a show early. Lily's doing a show late. And then, like I said, we'll get pizzas in the middle or hang out and just fucking watch and fun and laugh. It'll be great.
Ha-ha!
Ha-ha! Hodor.
Jinx, you owe me a Pepsi.
Maybe we can get Dave out there to paint people. That'd be fun. Have him come out and just fucking hang out. All right, so David Hernandez is the guy who does all of the cool stuff for this show. By that, I mean the artwork and the music. He is available at artbydmh.com. First of all, be his friend at Facebook. Why not go to facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and be his friend there? But then you can also go to artbydmh.com, check out all of the artwork he's done in the past, check out what he's got coming up in the future. You can hire him to do some sort of artwork for you. Why not? Get him to do something custom, a custom job for you guys. And he's the guy. So David Hernandez is available at Facebook, facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez, artbydmh.com. He's got Guyscapes, he's got Valcons, he's got Guycons, he's got Valscapes, he's got all of that stuff. Please check it out and enjoy it and buy every last piece because he deserves it. Please remember that Ryan Dirks does all the web stuff for the show, and he's cool, and I got to contact him at some point. And also, Superfan Geo has his podcast, Pod Gods, as well as all of the hard work he does for the Loveline podcast, and then all the cool stuff he does for our YouTube channel that I'll talk about on the other side. But please find Giovanni Giorgio Peluso on Facebook and be his friend. Tell him I sent you. And then follow all of his hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Instead of kisses, he gets kicked. Did you know that about Gio?
I did.
All right, so go ahead and be his pal and be his friend. And the producer of this show is my great friend, Lily Von Stupp. She is here now. You can find her at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can find her at several, on Instagram, and she's also Lily Von Stupp on Instagram. You can find her at several different Twitter accounts, twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/MNTs, twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest, and twitter.com/Boobdini. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out if these motherfuckers have finally gotten her the proof she's been waiting for all goddamn day and checking her phone throughout the show to see if they sent it, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
This is the 40-year-old boy and the Mike Schmidt.
Citizens of Gotham City, this is the Joker, coming to you through your key station via my high-powered jamming system. You're listening to the 40-year-old Dum-Dum on the stupid podcast, Stupid Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-year-old boy, friend of the show, Johnny Mathis.
How much for a Toledo handstand, or maybe a backdoor penguin?
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. It's a hit show. It's a runaway hit show. It's been around for like 15 years. People love it. There's a lot of naked ladies and a lot of people drinking, a lot of people imbibing, a lot of people flashing, a lot of areola in your face, a lot of girls doing the splits, a lot of scissoring, a lot of lesbian love, a lot of all that stuff happening. It's an amazing show. You got to buy tickets to it. Look,
You do have to buy tickets.
I'm not doing justice to the all the things I'm describing happen and they're true. And then when you go there, you go, I didn't think Schmitty really meant this. Yes, I did. Oh my God, look at those ladies. And they're showing you their lady flowers. And oh my God, just dive right in there. That's how it works. So go and buy a ticket and check it out. And then you too can roll in a big pile of lady. It's going to be fantastic.
A big pile of ladies.
It's huge. I happen to know the producer of that show too. And if there was anything here that I was wrong about, she would have disagreed with me by now. But as you can see, she did not. So everything I've said is completely on the up and up.
Absolutely true, except for most of that.
She's the producer, Lily Von Stupp. Hi, Lily.
Hi, Michael.
It's weird to do the introduction of you now because you talk all through the whole show. I just realized that after 9 years. But that's okay. I'm glad that we're talking to you.
Well, would you prefer not talking to me or never introducing me?
Well, no, I don't. There has to be a happy medium. Maybe in the beginning I introduce you from now on. But then this whole exchange goes out the window, and people love this exchange. Oh my God, they do. I'm sure believe me. People at the 37-minute mark turn this fucking show off. Yeah, done. Oh, I get it. You don't do stand-up anymore.
That's not true.
Nah, nobody's on my quest. Nobody wants to fucking run with me on this.
This is my quest to follow your dream.
I follow Chelsea Handler on Instagram.
Why?
I like Chelsea Handler.
Oh, okay.
I'm going in the front way. We talked about that about several years ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
And also, it's funny. You say that. Now here, let's talk about this. I respect her as a woman who has carved out this fucking successful career for herself. Now, look, people can say, well, she slept with the guy who ran E, or she did a lot of things that whatever other people wouldn't do. But regardless, she's a woman in a position of power who kind of, it looks to me like runs her own career and makes her own decisions. And I kind of respect that. I think good for her. But you
But
just.
what if she's just a bad person?
But I don't
It
find
has
her.
nothing to do with her sex.
I've not heard anything about her being a bad person.
I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't know much about her. I just don't find it very funny.
Well, I don't find it very funny either. Like I said, it's more of an admiration deal where I think that she's.
Good for her being successful.
And
That's
she
great.
uses her power. Well, I tell you what, as I grow older and less successful, I look at successful people and I go, oh, that's someone I should look at and maybe emulate or wonder how they did it or how much work they do. This will sound ridiculous. One of the time when I was frozen in my house for 3 months and sitting around doing nothing, one of the turning points that led me to go, it was the same weekend I was watching all the 80s videos and I talked about like when I saw certain things and it made me have certain revelations. The next day, the Masters ended. And I watched, because I did the 80s thing a couple of weeks, whatever. Let's not share too much about my fucking depression. But I watched the Masters end and I watched Sergio Garcia win the Masters. And I felt this weird admiration and kinship with him because he had accomplished something that he'd been trying to do forever. And everybody said he would never do it. And it was so hard. And he's he's still a great, fantastic golfer. He does really well. He's a famous name. He's been around for, I think, 15 years. He started when he was very young and now he's older, but, or 12 years, whatever the fuck, but he wins the Masters. And just to see his face and his wife and everything, he was so happy. And in my head, I was like, you could be that happy. You could take pride in accomplishments like he's doing right here if you actually made yourself work. I don't know. It was a weird message. So I actually taped it. It was still going on. I recorded the last half hour. I still have it on my DVR and I'll watch it periodically, him sinking the final putt and celebrating. And I'm like, oh, you can achieve what you want to achieve if you work hard enough. I know that sounds strange.
Not at all. And it all starts with high and blank.
It does. That's all you got to do. Jot it down. But that's how I feel about, like I said, about Chelsea. I know, because believe me, I know guys who shit on her. They hate her. They don't think she's funny, all these different things. And I get that.
Shit on her probably just because she's a woman. I shit on her because she's not funny.
I agree
I'm
with.
kidding. She's funny to a.
Well, people can think whatever they want, and that's fine. But I think she works, she works very hard. And again, like I said, she uses her powers for good. Yes. She gives money to Planned Parenthood. She was giving speeches for that, and that's something I agree with. And I find her she makes herself vocal and puts herself out there, and that's something that I can kind of get behind. It's cool. I mean, I admire her for it.
Follow her on Twitter.
And she put up a picture yesterday, or not a picture, a video, 2 videos of a little girl singing Hallelujah. And you know that the minor lift of that Hallelujah, whatever the fuck. Great song. But I don't need to see a 9-year-old interpret it. She doesn't know what the fuck it means. I'm sorry. I don't care how talented she is, and her voice is pretty good. But when I watch her singing it in my head, I'm just like, this is wrong. There's songs that kids should not get to sing. I used to think that when I watch American Idol, they would be given those assignments. It's Motown week. So some idiot would pick a Motown song that he had no connection with or whatever, and he would robot his way through it, and they'd go, oh, that was a stunning performance. Well, no, it wasn't. He was just able to ape the feeling, but he never caught the feeling behind the actual song. So it was always depressing to watch those people try to just go ahead and parrot what they thought these people were thinking when they wrote it, but not have any real connection. And that's why I was like, well, on American Idol, you got to get rid of these theme nights. They'd always do like standards theme night, and I fucking hated it. I was like, oh my God, I don't need to see another person sing At Last. Literally, Billie Holiday could climb out of the grave and just go, and I go, stop. Seriously, we've heard it. Good for you. I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you mustered the strength to climb the fuck out of your dirt hole and give me one more rendition of At Last, but I can't. I cannot. I can't. That was Billie Holiday, right?
But can you?
Was it Billie? Well, hold on. Now I got to think to myself. Was it Billie Holiday? I hope to God it was.
One of the many. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but who's the fucking the chick who used to play the House of Blues that the night I went and saw her praying with Rick James and I had to walk her over across the street. Who was that chick? Emma. I don't know what the fuck. Famous blues singer. Fuck. How do I not remember her? I'm so old. Look at me forgetting my past. God damn it.
Oh, I've forgotten all of my past. I had somebody remind me of the time that we took some people and we drove them from Barstow to, and I'm like, I totally forgot that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. And you remember that? That's amazing. And they were like, it was hysterical. And I was like, so many weird shit things happen to me, I can't even keep track of them.
Yeah, it is.
And I feel bad about that because when I was told the story, I was like, oh yeah, that was really funny. That's right. I do remember that now.
Not Ella Fitzgerald. It's not Ella Fitzgerald. It's Ella.
Right, Ella Fitzgerald.
It's not. No, because she was a really heavy.
Horn?
No, it's with an E, I think. Ella, Emma, it's something like that. Fuck, I can't remember her name. But she used to play the House of Blues all the time. And I, as a security guard, I had to go walk over and actually push her wheelchair across the street for her once and take care of her. We had to guard her and all that stuff. Fuck, I can't remember her name. Who cares? No, stop. So who gives a fuck?
It wasn't Ella Fitzgerald.
You know what? It could have been Tony Shalhoub. That's literally for like 5 people listening to this show. So I
I made a Milton Berle joke the other night, and one person got it.
There you
It
go.
made me feel old.
I was talking to somebody else about that, about comedy and how you have to, like, I can't just go do comedy and talk about the Brady Bunch or shit like that because everybody's like, because young people are like, does he mean that movie from the 90s? I think I remember that. Like, they have no idea the show even existed. They got no clue.
Yeah.
You don't want to be going out there and doing a Me TV act in a fucking, CISO world.
I
So
miss the Borscht Belt.
the
The Borscht Belt comedy.
Borscht Belt.
Borscht Belt.
I thought you said the Bush Belt.
Yawning as I was saying it. Head up and down. Yeah.
So the Monday Night Tease is a big show that everybody goes to and loves. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com if you want to go ahead and grab those, and also be a member of facebook.com/Monday Night Tease. You'll see who's coming to town. How was last night's show?
Well, before we do that, I have to ask a question for you.
Yes.
I'm considering changing my ticket provider. How hard is it going to be for you? Because it's going to be a pain in the ass for me to stop saying brown paper tickets.
Well,
If I
I'll
switch out.
I don't care. You'll always remind me because you're here to tell me.
It's weird. I've been with them since 2007.
Yeah.
So the thought of changing ticket provider is really hard for me. But there's a reason I might.
Well, it won't be hard for me at all. So
Monday, Egypt Black Nile is going to be there, and I've got some out-of-town performers and a couple people who have never performed before. It's going to be a great show. Come buy a ticket.
our friend Red Snapper was there last night in from out of town. She was from Dallas. She likes being naked. That's her deal. She handed me like a postcard because they have a postcard, her and her husband, and it's for their website and stuff. And she handed it to me and said, "Hey, did you get one of these?" I said, "I didn't." And I grabbed it and I just I didn't look at it. And she goes, "Yeah, I wanted to make sure you got one of those." I'm like, "All right, great." And she goes, "No, yeah, so you got one, so keep it." And I kind of got the hint. She's like, "Look at it." So I looked at it, and she's naked on the flyer. She's got a couple of cupcakes strategically placed up top, but on the bottom, she's by a table, and she actually purposely did not stand behind the table, so you can basically see the buffet she set out. Like literally, it's not a clear shot, but it's enough to go, oh, you're not wearing pants, and you're happy about not wearing pants, and you're thrilled that all of us are seeing you without wearing pants. And it made me laugh because it was just this weird, like, because she insisted I look at the flyer in front of her, and then I looked, and I'm like, you're like really naked. She's like, haha, yeah, exactly, because that's her deal. And I'm like, all right, well, say hi to your husband.
She's on Patreon, and she uses Patreon completely different than you and I. She uses it per post. So some months she'll put up 3 or 4 posts. Other months she'll put up more than that, and you can pledge like $1, $2, or $5 per post.
I see.
And I'm like, is that 50 cents a boob? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
She does. Most of her stuff, she has a topless vlog. So most of the stuff is videos of her talking about stuff just topless.
Well, that was the thing. She kept telling me about her topless vlog, and she would try to get me to look at her topless vlog, and I know her husband. I mean, I know Andrew. He's a good guy. And it just seems weird to go, yeah, I can't wait to see your tits. I mean, it's just a fucking weird, disrespectful thing to say or do. Unless he's into it too. I have no idea. I never got that far into it. But she would always tease me, and I would.
Nudist too.
Well, I don't want to see his
I
vlog.
wonder if he has a bottomless vlog.
Could not care less.
Bottomless vlog sounds really dirty.
Yeah, it
doesn't
does. Weird. Ugh.
Oh my god, I've got a bottomless vlog. What?
That sounds like you're something you got to see a doctor for. Oh my Christ. Oh, doc, I think I got a bottomless vlog. Ugh.
But if you're interested, you can pledge for $1 to see Red Snapper's tits.
There you go. So, or have her hand you a flyer in a club.
Yeah.
And just imagine her without cupcakes. All right.
I'm on Patreon. I'm on Patreon. You're on Patreon. Everybody's on Patreon.
Right. So let's all plug theirs instead of mine. What the fuck are you doing?
We're gonna plug yours too.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
So that's all out there. So the shows are great and everything's fine. And Red Snapper was there last night, and next week Egypt Black Nile, and a bunch of people are going to be naked. So go and check it out. Go to facebook.com/Monday Night Tease and become a member of that page, and you'll find out who's coming and when. It's fantastic.
You're a throbbing member of that page.
Well, sure, a throbbing veiny member of that page if you want.
Now you took it too far.
No, I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. And buy tickets for the Hollywood Burlesque Festival! Yay! Memorial Day weekend! Boobies!
Just about to mention that. The Hollywood Burlesque Festival is coming Memorial Day weekend.
10 days away.
It is. It's coming fast. It's approaching quickly, and you can go see. There's all sorts of cool ass judges, and then there's people stripping.
I wish I
and
could announce the judges.
Not yet.
But we can't announce judges because then people will try to sway the judges.
Nobody wants
and
a
we
swayed
can't do
judge.
that. So we can only. I can't wait to tell people who the judges are because I'm really excited about who my judges are.
As you should be. So it's coming up. Tickets are available, and as I mentioned, if you're going to be in town that weekend, let me know. It's that weekend, yes. The 25th, 26th, 27th, or something like that.
27, 28, 29.
Yeah, because I'm out of town that week, but then I should be back that weekend. So that'll be great. So everybody buy tickets and see me and see Lily and see, importantly, more naked people, and see a king and queen of Hollywood burlesque crowned.
Yeah.
The new ones. That'll be fantastic. So tickets are available for that at Brown Paper Tickets.
They are.
Buy those.
Buy those. Come
Hangouts.
Go to
Tell us if you're coming.
HollywoodBurlesqueFestival.com. All the pictures are up now.
So
You
go
can
check
see who all
out
the performers are.
HollywoodBurlesqueFestival.com and see everybody who's going to be there and who's there and competing. And go cast your vote when you get to town and buy a ticket and yell and scream and hoot and holler and stamp your feet. Holler, holler. All right, so that's all around there. And please go. First of all, we have a sponsor. Our friend Jerome has getthebutters.com. He's the best. And if you go there and use the 40YOB code, you will get all sorts of cool-ass stuff or discounts or whatever the fuck he's got arranged. I don't know. But, of course, he's got butters and balms and bombs and lubes and all sorts of neat stuff, scrubs and sea salt and chocolate and cocoa and coffee and all of it that you rub directly on your nipples and have a good time. So please go ahead and there to getthebutters.com. It's available now. And use 40YOB. And, here's a good thing to do when you're there. Buy something for you and something for me and then send it to me. That's pretty cool. That's a good ass deal because you're saving money on it anyway. You're getting a discount. Why not buy multiple things? Buy something for Lily. Buy her something fancy. Something that smells like lavender that you can dump in her ear or whatever the fuck. Who cares? Get it. Buy something for all of us and use the code 40YOB. You save money. Jerome gets money. I get money. You get stuff. Look at that square of love right there. Everybody gets something. We're all holding down a corner. So please go to getthebutters.com and use 40YOB and get a butter, a balm, a lube, and do everything and put it in your ass. Do all that with the first, however, have Mr. Ward take the jump rope out of your ass and then butter up your lube, balm, and put it right in there. So go to getthebutters.com and use that. We also have the other sponsor, as I've mentioned last week. And I heard from the sponsor, he was unhappy with my read last week. He did not care for it.
That's true.
Of course it's not true. He was very happy. But there's a podcast called The Paranoid Strain.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. The Paranoid Strain. Hosted by Fearful Jesuit. And he texted me with a bunch of corrections, so let's get to those right now. First of all, his name is not Fearful Jesuit. Now, that's weird. I thought I had that down, but apparently his name is Ron. So go ahead and follow the show. I'm teasing. If that was the correction.
What?
You kept calling me Fearful Jesuit. My name is Ron. No, the show is called The Paranoid Strain. It's in the iTunes store now. I think the mistake I made last month is I said it'll be coming out every single month. Oh, that's incorrect. It's coming out every 2 months. Right now, there's 2 episodes in the iTunes store now. Go download them, listen, and then tell him what you think in the iTunes store. He wants ratings and reviews. He wants ears, folks. He wants you to listen and give him a thought of how you feel about him talking about conspiracy theories. Because that is actually what the show, he's like, I have actually a log line for my show. This is it. The podcast that explains why so many people believe ridiculous conspiracy theories. He writes me and he goes, it's on my business cards and everything. Now, I don't know what podcast has business cards. I don't know what podcast host thinks they're in business. I don't know what mistake you've made. I understand now what the Fearful Jesuit is fearful of, legitimacy, because he thinks somehow that he is in a business of some sort because he had business, and he may have been teasing about that. I don't know, but it was a text, so I read it as is. So he is the podcast that explains why so many people believe ridiculous conspiracy theories. It's also the podcast you listen to when you'd like to nod off. That's it, exactly. You just go ahead and drop off halfway through the dulcet tones of Fearful Jesuit telling you about the lords and the elders of Zion. And you're like, time to get a nap. That's incorrect. It's a fantastic show. The Paranoid Strain, hosted by Fearful Jesuit. It is the podcast that explains why so many people believe ridiculous conspiracy theories. And, oh my God, the theme music. Check it out, folks. Fearful Jesuit, he actually hired a punk band from the 80s to go ahead and make him a theme song.
He did. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I think it was all of the guys in the Melvins except for the talented ones. I think they went ahead and cut his...
Sure, it was hysterical. I liked it.
It's really good. Lily, actually, she did. She enjoyed
I
the theme
did. I
song.
was like, it reminds me of the 80s.
Like
punk
Naked Ray
rock
Gun
thing.
or bands like that,
It's
sure.
Just, yeah.
So there you go. Listen just for that. Listen for the theme song. Listen for the lady interrupting him and go, what show is that like? What show has a lady interrupting the host all the goddamn time? But it's because he's listened to this show a long time and he's been influenced. As a matter of fact,
Me.
it is you. You're on that show. Wait a minute. You're on that fucking show? Hold on. Did you record the theme song?
I did.
The Paranoid Strain, hosted by Fearful Jesuit, is in iTunes store now. And new episodes will be coming shortly. And I'll tell you about those when they do arrive. But please recognize that this man sponsors our show and try to give him a listen if you want. If you care about conspiracy theories in Zion, he's the guy to listen to. So go ahead. I will tell you this. The show is very dry. You will have to clear sand out of your ears when it's finished. But it is still a terrific show. So please check out The Paranoid Strain with Fearful Jesuit as the host. Behind the control board. Behind the wheels of steel. He's a DJ, Fearful Jesuit. He's out there with Marshmello and Yanni right now. Or not Yanni. Who am I thinking of? Tiesto. Yanni's not a DJ, he's a fucking horn blower. All right, so go to remember there's the YouTube page we've got, Mike Schmidt's YouTube page, and remember episode 36 has been redone with all sorts of crazy wipes and fire and nonsense. So please check that out. Go to the YouTube channel. Let Superfan Geo, not superfan of me, but superfan of others, let him think he's doing a great job, and go view things and comment and write neat things on videos and listen to, because again, I used to be really fucking good at this, so that's why we're putting it up on YouTube. So when you hear a show like this where I fucking bitch and moan for 35 minutes and go, hey, I'm gonna go jump into one of the past seasons that was really funny. So that's out there. If you hated the beginning of this show, go right now and listen to the other show. Although why you're still here if you hated the beginning of this show, I don't know. You probably unplugged and went over there. Maybe you did that. I don't know how you do your things or handle your life. So YouTube channel exists. All of our sponsors, we've cleared the deck on those. Please remember we have the Patreon page, ladies and gentlemen. Sponsor us. We've got new sponsors this particular week. I can't talk about them until next month, remember. But also I will say this. Please remember that your donation is a monthly donation. It is not a one-time donation, because if you wander in and you go, hey, I'm going to give Mike $1,000, please remember that's $1,000 a month, and think accordingly. And first of all, nobody's giving me $1,000, but it's up there just in case. But because that's happened, some people have made a donation, then gone, holy fuck, I thought this was once a one-time deal, and then they scaled it back, which is good for them, and I appreciate it. I'm glad you get caught before you get billed. But please know that, because I'll guess I'll give refunds or whatever the fuck if I have to. I mean, I don't want to.
Stupidity is not a reason for a refund.
Read the directions. It's a monthly donation. So if you are a Patreon donor, thank you. If you are not, please jump on board and go ahead and become a Patreon person. And I've got to get on there and start talking to people, because I have personal podcasts that I got to give out if people want them. Because there are people who are like, I don't want any rewards. But if you want a personal podcast, I got to get people's phone numbers for phone calls, all sorts of stuff I got to do out there. So contact me if you're a Patreon person, or I'll go on the Patreon thing and make a post and you'll comment underneath it. We're all in this together. Let's all be Patreons. Go patronize my Patreon and make me happy you did. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Go to the Joe Business page. We've got all sorts of stuff there. We got shirts. We've still got all the live stuff is there. All the podfests are available. We've got the download sets individually if you want those. If you don't want to just go to YouTube and listen, you can buy them individually, one at a time there. And then, of course, we've got Word Pimp Schmitty and the Misanthropic Gangster, and we've got Heroes. Those are both music albums with music from this show. If you make a donation, you get that. And the Amazon link is really important. Please, a lot of people are using the Amazon link, and we do appreciate it very much, because that's a real easy way to help the show. All you're doing is getting the stuff you would have gotten anyway, but you're using us as the conduit, and it gives us a little skim off the top, a little boom boom, a little back and forth, a little yada yada. That's what we get from you guys. A little backdoor hand job, a little sideways Lucy, which I'm looking for. So please use our link, get us some stuff, get you some stuff. Again, we get money, they get money, you get stuff. That's a triangle of lust. We had a square of love, we now got a triangle of lust. Look at all these shapes. Eventually, I'm going to work out a sponsorship with 8 sides to it. And then we're going to have a fucking octagon of fist fucking, whatever the fuck we want to call it. We'll call it something. If I can square it out, that'll be out there, and we'll be happy if you guys go ahead and jump on board. So please become a Patreon. Use the Amazon link at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And also, don't forget, Outburst Theater, Kansas City, August 12th. Me and Lily are out there. And again, I'll be talking. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about just yet. I may craft a whole new thing. I may talk about the trip. I may tell older stories. I may just do, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. But now I've got plenty of time to do just that. Remember that the 2020 tickets are on sale for June 5th, I believe it is, with me, my brother Lenny, and Lizzie Cooperman. Yeah, Cooperman, Lizzie Cooperman. I always want to say Coopersmith. It's so fucking dumb because that was from Mad Men. Lizzie Cooperman is out there along with me and Lenny. I won't get Lenny's last name wrong, believe me. And the Outburst. That's, again, right now. Tickets are not on sale yet, but hopefully you guys will come out and join us and see both shows. And are we doing tickets for individual shows, or they can buy two and get?
We'll have 2 single tickets, and then we'll have a combo ticket.
So you can come and see me or see Lily, or you can buy a combo ticket and see both of us, which is what I would prefer. Because then, like I said, when the transfer happens, we'll talk, we'll hang out. While Lily's getting ready for her show, I'll be signing stuff and maybe bring some shirts. Nobody wants shirts. But we'll get some pizza, we'll have some food, we'll bring stuff in, and we'll hang out, and then we'll watch Lily get naked and have fun, and if she brings other people, and it's going to be fantastic. So come on out to the Outburst in Kansas City.
I'm not going to get naked.
You said to me earlier you might.
I'm going to dance, but I'm not going to get naked. That is not, no.
Well, fuck, I'm going to dance but not get naked.
You're going to verbally dance. I'm going to physically dance.
All right, so there's dancing afoot. So please come out and see that. You said to me earlier, you go, I might just strip on stage. Would that make you mad? I'm like, well, no.
Yes, I may strip, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to get naked.
Stripping is naked.
No, it's not. It's pasties and a G-string.
That's the same. All right, fine. You'll take your clothes off, whatever the fuck. That's good. Who cares?
I don't want people to think I will be naked. There will be no pussy or Or nipples involved?
Well, it's not a strip club. It's a theater. People are coming for a decent performance, and I thank you to holster those things and not show them to common people. Right now, you got to go ahead and go. I can't believe you're sitting here threatening to show your vagina to everybody. Oh, my God. Do me a favor, everybody. When you show up at the show, bring one of those honey bears. Bring one of those honey bears, and then who knows what'll get shown.
Oh, my God.
Maybe she'll get fucking all sticky, and she'll do like
Please don't.
a goddamn Karen Finley type of show, like a Piss Christ thing. It'll be just like Honeyed Lily, and we'll have her fucking just all sticky at the end of the show, and then we'll all write post-it notes of like encouragement and stick them on her body. This is going to be fucking, look at this show I just created. That's going to be great. I'm going to talk in the beginning. Nobody cares.
Let me tell you,
But afterwards,
price won't be $20 for that.
but afterwards, Lily's going to get naked. We're all going to cover her in honey and stick post-it notes to her. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, why would we use post-it notes when the paper would probably stick on the honey? Make up your own fucking show if you want to have those arguments. I don't need you stepping up and telling me how to book a show, goddammit. I just invented this 9 seconds ago. You expect me to have the logistics work out? You guys are never satisfied. Holy fuck. First of all, you hung around for all that. I tell you, you want to hook people in, get them halfway through a recipe and cut your fucking show in half. That's it. Do an hour about stewing this bale, get on a plane, and then come back and revisit it 2 days later, because that's the most important stew in the universe. Were there noodles or rice involved? Stay tuned!
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.